muted. Sorry, I'm not sure if can people let me know? The whole thing just seemed to crash for me. So if it's crashed, can you just guys let me know? I'm going to add the guests in. Sorry, the thing, everything just seemed to just completely stop working. Can you hear me? Yes. Brilliant. The guys in the back room, we've got two lovely guests. We've got Mia and we've got Ellie coming on. I'm going to add you guys in now. But yes, can you? Sorry about that. The timer just stopped. And Mia was already complaining about the timer being stupidly long anyway. But it just stopped. And so apologies. Yeah, big up guys in the chat that are in here. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what happened. The whole thing froze, but it was still playing on my screen. But nothing was coming out. But anyway, how are we all doing? Welcome to the stream. It's a bit of an impromptu one. How are we all doing? Eddie, first time I've had you on here, which is brilliant. I mean, we've back to back with random other streams, but it's welcome on. Mia, you've come on to mine several times. How are you both doing?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, really good.
Quite nice without Spurs for a bit. We don't have to worry.
I know. Looking forward to the show, though.
Yeah, no, definitely. We'll have a bit of a chat because obviously the talk at the moment that's been going on at the moment at Tottenham is Postecoglou. Obviously, everyone was he had his final. We don't know yet. That a lot of what he was saying was very cryptic in the sense that there is probably an offer on the table for Tottenham. Do we think he's played his last game for Celtic? Ellie, I'll let you go and answer that one for this moment.
Yeah, it seems that way because all the indications from that interview is very cagey, but it would seem like it was his last game. And then they panned to the directors, didn't they? And they looked quite glum. So I think they're assigned to losing him, Perchie. So I'm really glad because it's not just because he's Greek. It's because he's a fantastic motivator. His tactics are brilliant. His style of football is brilliant. And I'm looking forward to a new regime under Postecoglou.
Definitely. And listen, I think this is the point with the whole Postecoglou, because I've seen a lot of stuff on social media at the moment about Ange Postecoglou. And I sort of see a lot of negativity going around with him, with the appointment. I get it. I do get people's frustrations, but I also look at it and go, we have to be a bit more realistic in where we are at the moment. I mean, Mia, I think it's good to sort of bring you into this, have we got this sort of right and this sort of privilege to think that we can go and attract this sort of, in air quotes, big name manager?
I think people get really above their station, if I'm completely honest with this whole thing, because I feel like at the end of the day, we have to realise who we are and where we are currently as a club. And I think that I was talking before with my brother actually about getting an Enrique. So I don't think Enrique would be good. Neither does he actually. He's on agreement with me because I feel like Enrique's again a bit of that ego. That big two manager's going to come in and feel like he's doing us a favour. We have to literally beg him to come to us. Where with Postecoglou, I feel like he will happily come to us and accept the challenge and want to do well with us. So I feel like that manager is perfect. And if you look in our past, those managers work out the best for us. We had Redknapp, we had Martin Jol, and we've had Poch. They've all been those kind of managers. So for me, it actually works out better when we do that.
No, I can't really disagree with that. And I think that's the key part. I think people need to understand where we are as a football club. We're a club in absolute disarray at the moment. And I genuinely feel we aren't. People think that I'm way overboard when I talk about Tottenham. People think that I go way too far, but I genuinely look forward. I kind of look further than the here and now. I look at it and go, where are we though? Well, where are we? Because I look at it and go, we're a club in disarray. I can't understand where we are as a football club, what we are as a football club, because I look elsewhere and I look at teams above us. I know what they are as football clubs. I know their ethos, their identity. I can't see that with Tottenham. What about you? What do you think, Ellie?
Yeah, I'll get you, right? And football's a place of opinions, isn't it? It's a market where people voice their grievances and they praise as well. But the thing is, with us, right, I think what it is with the oldest fans like myself. I mean, I'm 60 now, so I've seen quite a lot of cups come into our trophy cabinet. So I think they hold on to that, and what they do, they go on the past rather than what's happening currently. What's happening currently is a bit of a shit show. So we have to sort out the shit show and get ourselves back to where Poch brought us, but then push a bit forward. And that takes quite a lot of windows. It's not going to happen overnight. So we have to be patient as fans. We can't be hounding out the manager after 6 months. And that's quite a regular thing. And also, the style of play has been awful. So all the older fans and the younger fans are united on that. We want to see a fantastic style of football with an identity, like you said, Perchy.
Absolutely bang on, Ellie. I think that's the key part. Our style of play is non-existent. We're at that stage. When everyone kept saying, and when Guardiola said it, and our fan base basically went all crazy about it. And Guardiola went, "They're a Harry Kane team." We are, aren't we? I think we have to be frank and honest. Without Harry Kane, we're really, really poor. But I have got some questions here. So Dragon D's Nuts, love the name, by the way, it's quality. Mia, I'll give this one to you. If we get Ange Postecoglou in, are there any Celtic players that you would have him? Would you think there'll be any players that he would bring in? I'm assuming that question is from Dragon D's Nuts.
Do you know what? I don't know. I'm not someone who's going to say that I know every league and every player, but I don't really know the Celtic players that well. But I hear they have got some really good players there. So if they're players that he wants, then I feel like he should bring them in. If he feels like he can work with them again and he can get them, I feel like I trust what he wants, because he's got a really good eye for players. He seems to have this very good knack of getting good players. So for me, whatever players he wants, I'll be happy to say, okay, if that's what Ange wants, give it to him.
I think that's a great point as well, what you said, because I think the thing is what people miss completely with the whole Postecoglou thing, whereas Jose Enriquez will probably go for much more, I would say, more glamorous signings, so to speak. Not saying that he won't go in and get glamorous signings, but I look at the lads that he's brought in at Celtic, and he's brought in those young Japanese lads, the striker who played up top for him in the Japanese striker who played for in the World Cup. They have I will probably end up butchering his name. It's like Fukushima. I don't want to butcher the lad's name.
It's really hard to pronounce, so don't worry.
It's really hard to pronounce, and I can't. And I don't want to absolutely butcher his name, but I could see the sort of players that we will be attracting if we bring him in. We will be looking into the Asian market, which is a growing market at the moment in football, and there are young players that are coming through Japan and through the likes of Korea and Australia and stuff that will start progressing. So I could very much see, with the likes of Scott Munn coming involved, that we will be going down that route. Listen, I understand where people get very negative about it, but actually I look at it in a positive. No one else in the Premier League's doing that. No one else in the Premier League going out there and looking at that market specifically and finding the best players. Listen, it could go completely wrong, by the way. This is not me saying this is a blueprint of absolute success. But at least it's something. At least we can go. At least we can identify a Tottenham signing. What, Ellie? We've got another question as well. We've got a few questions pop in. Questions. I thought that was a question, Darryl. So, question. I think it's time. Yeah, no. I think you're right though, in the sense of answers. In the sense, I'm assuming you're talking about it in the sense of we need answers when it comes to it. But I think we have to be much more realistic. And I get everyone's frustration, by the way, because I was there. But I've taken a step back and I've thought about it and gone, what can we as a football club expect? We're not going to be a club that's going to get instant success. And Elliot, as I was trying to bring you up on this one as well, it's like in the sense of, I think fans need to be a bit more understanding on where we are as a club instead of expecting instant success.
Yeah, like I said, we have to have patience as well, Perchy. You know, it takes time to build a team. And what I like, getting back to Postecoglou, what I like about him, he identifies players that fit in with his style of play, and he'll go out and he'll do his research and he'll go out and watch the players himself as well.
Yeah,
which is really good. That's what Harry Redknapp used to do as well, right? And it's not just all about stats. He'll look at the stats, obviously, and he'll work, if he does work with a DOF, I don't think he currently works with one, but he's probably got his advisors, because all football managers, if you've got right-hand men and other people that work under those right-hand men than yourself, it works a lot better. But I know what type of player he likes. He likes quick-footed players that can move off the ball very quickly and can pass very accurately. And he hates the back pass. I was watching Ashmatic actually identifying two good players, right? And those two players would slot in beautifully with Angie's style of play. So I'm looking forward to who he identifies as well if we do get him over the line. Yeah,
I think you're absolutely bang on there, Ellie, and I think that's the key point. We've got a few. Big up to OK Cool, because he's a Celtic fan, resigned that Angie's going to the Premier League. If Spurs don't take him, they'll be playing against him soon. And I think that's a key point here. And this is the part where I think about this. And I say this all the time, so I have to be much more balanced in what I say. I say this all the time. Why can't we be the club that gets him before another Premier League club? And I say that a lot about players, but why can't this be about a manager? People might call me happy clapper and all this and going a bit positive but I'm trying to be for a second. I say this all the time. I said this about the likes of Joachim Andersen, who ended up going to Crystal Palace. I said this about Maddison before he went to Norwich and when he was at Coventry, way before he was in the Premier League. And I said, these are the players we should be identifying before they come to the Premier League. Why can't this be the manager that does that? Because it wouldn't shock me if we don't get him. I think it will happen now. I think it looks very much it's going to happen. But if we don't get him, it wouldn't shock me if Palace get him. And then he goes and does really well, maybe finishes him in the top half of the table. Hear me out. And then we start hearing talks that he's linked with a bigger job. But we need to, why can't we be the team that gets it done before that? I just want to pick up some big up Juice Monkey, mate, good mate of mine he's over on Twitch. Need to follow the Arsenal blueprint. Spurs are in the same position Arsenal were 3 years ago. Arteta cleared out and now producing great football. Any manager needs the same plan and time he has. I agree. I actually agree that we have to look over the road and be jealous and go, we were sat there laughing at them. We had the better manager in Conte. We had the better manager at the time with Jose Mourinho. We look over the road and we go, they had a plan and implemented it. Instead of what we do is we just go and get a manager and go, there you go, mate. Good luck. Have a good time and try and do it.
Do you know what the problem with that is? Is that we did kind of start that with Poch, because don't forget, before Arteta, Poch did all of that. So don't feel like it's an Arsenal blueprint, because guess what? We've done it too, and so have many other teams. Yeah. We started it, but what happened? We didn't continue it. We just cut it off and said, actually, we're so close to winning, let's get a winning manager in. And when that didn't work, we got Nuno, the fans are upset. Let's kind of like make the fans a bit happy and get Conte in. So we went so far away from that Poch thing. And now that's why people need to be realistic, because we've gone so far away from what we had with Poch. We need to get back to building that. We need to get back to doing that. That's where we need to go.
No, absolutely, Mia, absolutely. And I think the part that I was thinking more about, what we did under Pochettino, which we didn't do, it wasn't necessarily about signing players. We didn't refresh players. So we didn't go, do you know what? And I sit back and one thing as Spurs we need to regret is we needed to regret selling players at peaks and stop panicking. We should have sold Dele Alli to Real Madrid when we had the opportunity. We should have sold the likes of Eric Dyer to Man United when they were linked with him, when they were in their pomp. Not saying Eric Dyer's been amazing, by the way, but he was linked with Man United for a 50 odd million quid. We could have easily sold him then. Dele Alli was linked for nearly 80 to 90 million pounds to go to Real Madrid when he was at his absolute peak. What we did is we thought the best thing to do was retain these talents. But what actually did happen is players got comfortable, players regressed, and now we've come to a situation where we've now got the players still in this sort of system. Yes, we've got rid of a lot of the sort of Poch era players. A lot of them have now gone. I think Hugo, Kane, Dyer are the only three. Anyone might be able to shout out names that might be there. I mean, you could argue Harry Winks, but he's out on loan. He was out on loan. So is any of you, do you think of any more that was still in that?
Sonny was.
Yeah, Son's another one. That's a good chat. So yeah, that's 5.
Was Davies not Poch as well?
Yeah. You could argue Davies. I mean, he was more of a squad player.
But
More of a squad player, but yeah, you could put Ben Davies was in there at that time as well. Yeah. Ben Davies as well. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So there's about 6 of them now that are still there. Yeah, that we need to. But what we didn't do is we really killed the art of selling players at the right time. Liverpool. I always go back to the Liverpool saga. You know, when they had Coutinho at his absolute pomp. He was amazing for them. He was their best player by a country mile at the time. Liverpool decided, you know what, we'll cash in at 150 million quid. Yeah. Rest is history. They went and won a league title. They won a Champions League in that time. And you could argue that we don't recycle players well. We don't get rid at the right time. We get rid when they're at their bottom. And we sign a lot of players at their top price. And for me, that's a really, really bad problem we have at this football club. We do it all the time.
But do you know what the problem with that is? That you obviously say that, and I completely concur. But imagine if we would have sold Sonny after he would have got his golden boot. Everybody would have been in such uproar. All of our fans would have been like, oh my God. People in our club, right? People have this really strange concept where they've got the sense of grandeur, but they've also got... it's also like the opposite because they're so afraid of losing big players. It's like they're really frightened. But then on the other hand, they're like, we should be getting this manager. But we don't behave in that manner. You don't want us to behave in that manner. So what it makes you expect that we should behave in that manner? Because we're all so scared of getting rid of Harry Kane. If Harry Kane goes, people are going absolutely, we're going to get relegated, which I think is completely nonsense. And it's a nonsensical argument. And then just like so over the top about it. So that's the problem, isn't it? Because our fans get so like outraged if we dare to sell Harry Kane or Sonny when they were at their peak, and even the Dele Alli when he was at his peak. People would have gone absolutely mad and said it's Levy trying to sell these players and blah blah. That's where that's the line that would have come up. So that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, Peter's come up with a great one here. He said Tottenham don't know when to sell. Levy was a good businessman, but Fergie knew when to sell. That is the key here. Fergie he completely controlled Man United on what they did when he was there, and he knew when to sell players and buy players. He was an absolute genius at it, and that is exactly the reason why there was so much success at Man United, because he just got it right. But I'll bring you in, Ellie, here on this one, on this point about offloading players at the right time and selling them at the right time. And I think it needs to happen. We don't sell right. We sell players at completely the wrong time. We don't do it right. And I think we need to be much more comfortable. And I think the key part of what Mia said, and just to sort of let you bring you on this, is that I think the reason why fans will go lose their mind if we sold one of our better players is I think fans have lost complete confidence that we'll get it right. And I think that's the key one. I think if we sold, I think everyone's still got PTSD of the Gareth Bale saga. Everyone goes, well, if we sell a big name, we'll end up buying 5 dross. But let's be honest, I don't think that always will happen. But I'll let you give me your verdict on it.
You know what it is, right? Because fans have got favourites as well. Like, I don't know if you know Irish Hotspur, he loves the Harry Kane, but he is realistic as well. He knows that if we do sell Harry Kane, we won't get relegated. Everybody, I think most fans, if they're being realistic, they know that that would happen. All right, we wouldn't get relegated.
Not true, Ellie.
We wouldn't get relegated. I don't
so many people have said it, though.
Social media fans that I speak to and at the Grand, when I'm at the Grand, they say a lot of them are of the opinion that we should let him go, but for different reasons. Some fans say because he deserves a trophy. Other fans say because, you know, if he leaves, we can build a new side, right? And they are excited about that because the money that we get for Kane, we can invest it properly. And with the right vision and the right manager, we can move forward. But obviously with social media, it's highlighted the whole fact that if we leave Harry Kane to leave, that we're going to plummet and we're going to get relegated, which is not right. I personally think all the people that I speak to don't believe that. Sometimes social media, they hype things and it gets out of hand. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think I understand. I think Alex is very much vocal. He's in the chat. Big up, Alex, Mr. Box Office. If you don't know, get to know. I've invited him on because I'd love Alex on because Alex is
Mr. Waffle, Mr. Waffle Box.
Mr. What? No, it's Mr. Waffle. You know, it's Mr. Whistle House. By the way, Mr. Waffle House.
I'm not going to call him that because
all my American viewers will know what Waffle House is. But Mr. Listen, I love Alex. Alex is an absolute character, what a man. But he makes a valid point in the sense of we will be worse without Harry Kane. I think the relegation thing. I think I was one. People misconstrued what I said when I said that. I said if you took out Harry Kane's goal, I said, but you have to parameter. It isn't as simple as you take his goals away and we won't get. But my argument will always be is the players around him have scored 13 league goals this season. I'm on about Son, I'm on about Richarlison, and I'm on about Kulusevski. The three attackers in our team outside of Harry Kane have scored 13 goals in the league this season.
Yeah.
Kane scored 30. He scored more than double than the other three. And my point, when you take out those goals of Harry Kane, yes, others you think Richarlison will get a few more because he'll play more games, blah, 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 will play a different way. My concern is these players aren't getting respectable numbers. I mean, you could argue some with 10 goals. I mean, it depends how people judge Heung-min Son. Because for me, I judge him at a level where he should be at the top level. So for 10 goals in the league is not good enough for his what I would say for his stature. Richarlison, 1 goal in the league, regardless if he's been a bit part player here and there, not good enough. Kulusevski, another one, really, really poor. But Kane they're doing these, having this season with Harry Kane. You take Harry Kane out of that. I'll put it to both of you, actually. I'll put it to both of you. How many goals, if you took Harry Kane out of this side, and let's just for argument's sake, because I think Richarlison is going to be the replacement if we sell Kane, when Kane goes, which terrifies me, by the way, because I don't think he's good enough. I'd like my words to be eaten up when he goes and scores 15 goals next season in the league. Hopefully. But this is the point when we talk about Spurs getting relegated. I don't think Spurs will be at that level they get relegated. I think we're good enough just to stay up. But what difference are we to Everton are we Everton with Harry Kane? I'll put it to you both.
Well, it depends, right? It depends who we get to replace him. And if he's a proven goal scorer as well, and he comes in and forges a really good partnership with the other two front players that he's going to make. Plus, we're not going to just focus on goal scoring strikers. I'm presuming that the club want goal scoring midfielders as well. And also, you've got Kulu, who's had a bit of a torrid season, hasn't he? He's been up and down in the form, more down than up. So he has to step up as well. And then we've got little Porro. We know he can score. So
I think Porro's a good. I think Porro.
Yeah.
If we get Porro, find the right position for him, I think we've got a good player there. I think the problem what we've got is we haven't really found the right solution for him yet. He's not much of a defender, but he's a very good attacker. But it's finding the right balance, isn't it?
Do you know where I think he should play? Like an inverted winger. Let Kulu do his normal role, or bring Kulu into the middle because Kulu hasn't got pace to play on the wing. That's my own personal opinion.
Yeah, agreed.
Right, I think he should be the one that comes in the middle and give Porro his role because Emerson and Porro are really quick players. And although Emerson's not good going forward, behind Porro, it would be a steady defender because one thing's for sure, his defending is improved. So it all depends on the vision of the manager as well, what he wants. But we do have to get more goal scorers into the team. That's one thing for sure.
And also,
exactly.
I would say that this year's been such an anomaly with the lack of goals from other players. So Sonny last season, Sonny was our Golden Boot winner. He won and got the most goals in our team. So I think this season has been a bit of a strange one. So next season, playing a different style, playing with a different manager, there is the possibility that Sonny will then maybe score those few more goals. And like you say, a midfielder might contribute, a Porro might contribute. Like there's that, we don't know. It's all if, buts and maybes. But I think people are very hyperbolic about this Kane situation. We've had so many strikers come and go in our club, and we've never got relegated from that in this period.
Yeah.
So like, that's what I would say.
You could argue me, Everton have not got relegated, but they've been in a relegation battle 2 seasons in a row. So
but
you could easily argue it that way.
But we didn't. But have we been in a relegation battle truly when some of our best strikers have left?
Of course, no. Of course not. But I think the argument I do get. I'm not sitting there saying that we're going to get relegated. I don't want people thinking that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, but I sit back and I go, I think, do you know what's bigger and what we need to change the way that we play to suit it. And Arsenal, and I hate going back to it, but Arsenal's a great example because Arsenal don't have a prolific goal scorer. They haven't got a 20, 30 goal scorer, but what they've got is they've got 3 players that score at least 15 goals. Saka, Martinelli, Jesus, Odegaard chips in with a good 10 goals. So what they've got is they don't have what we have, where we've got someone that goes and hits 30 league goals, a player that hits nearly 50 goals, nearly 40 goals in all competitions. They haven't got that, Arsenal. But what they've got is they've gone, do you know what? If everyone chips in with a goal each, we're going to start getting it. So as I said, I think between the 3 of them, they've got about 40 odd goals. So it makes sense. We don't necessarily have that. We basically are, Harry Kane has to go and score, or we don't win games of football. We've been like that for a while. But I think what you're saying is right. But I think at the moment, it's so obvious to see. We've got some guys in the chat that have put some bits in. Big up to Hiss and Blood Hodges. Until I hear Mason's left, I see him being a manager. Surely he won't want to work under another manager, waiting for his chance to take over. Girls, which one would you like? What would your thoughts on Ryan Mason's future from now on? Not necessarily, I don't think he's going to stay, but do you think he should leave to move on for other prospects?
Yeah, I do. I think he needs to get more experience. I think a championship team would be good because in the championship, Perchie, it's a hard battle, right? And you're gonna earn your crust as a manager there. And I think maybe whoever's got a vacant position, maybe like a Norwich or a team that's got promoted.
I don't think he's good enough for Norwich.
Yeah,
but no disrespect to Ryan Mason, because I actually think do you know what? I actually think he's a really nice bloke, and I don't want someone from our academy to be. I don't like this sort of negativity against him and the sort of shitting on Ryan Mason, because I think he's put in a situation he doesn't really deserve to be in.
Yeah, I think your point. The reason I chose Norwich is because we've got such a good bond with them in terms of players that we've let go there, like Marcus Edwards, Harry Kane. We've had other players go to them.
Edwards went over there, didn't he?
Marcus Edwards, did. He didn't last too long because he's a bit of a bad boy, I hear. It's just any team in the championship that's up and coming as well. We don't want him to go to a lower ebb because that might damage his, reputation.
I think he needs to go down.
He's got to build a reputation, because when he's had 2 spells at Spurs, he hasn't particularly set the world on fire, has he?
I totally agree. I completely agree with that. And I think, Mia, I'll bring you. For me, I think he needs to go to either the Championship, because there is reports there are Championship teams looking at him. There are also teams abroad that are in the Champions League looking at him, lower teams down in the Champions League, which, I mean, of past players that have gone and done that, it hasn't looked great for the likes of Scott Parker, who lasted a few months at Bruges. But this is the thing. I think for Ryan Mason, I hope he moves on. I hope at the end of this, once the new manager comes in, he does walk away. Not because I don't want him to be at Spurs, because I actually like it that he's there, because it just shows that we've actually offered. It's actually one of the good things I think we've done is offered someone that went through a horrendous injury, by the way, absolute horrendous injury, and we gave him an opportunity, which I love the idea of that. But he does need to, for him to be. There's a part of me that goes, I kind of would like him to come through and become Spurs manager in the future, not right now, because I could see it'd be nice to see down the line. But listen, Mia, what's your thoughts on the whole Ryan Mason situation?
I think as well, it isn't just about like it's about him as a person for me. Like if he actually really strongly wants to become a manager and he feels like he has got a future as a manager, then for his own sake he should be like strong enough and say, listen, I'm going to go outside the Spurs bubble and I'm going to get experience because I want to do it that much, and be like very strong-minded and say, I don't need to be at Spurs and to learn. I want to go elsewhere because I can learn other ways. I can learn from other people as well. And that's so important. So if he had anything about him, then he would want to go. He would be pushing to get that move because he would want better for himself, and to go on and become a manager somewhere else, not just be a number 2 continuously or be amongst the team of for the manager. He would want to do better.
Yeah, no, I absolutely do agree. And I think, listen, Dragon D's Nuts has literally said it how I feel. Short-term pain for long-term gain. That's why next season, I don't care where we finish. People will think, what are you talking about? As long as we don't get relegated next season, I don't care. I've got no ambition for next season. For me, I'd happily take a cup run next season and over anything else. Listen, if we can give it a go in a cup and just see how it goes, because I think we've got such a long way to do. And I said it on the 24-hour stream with Savannah. So big up Savannah, by the way. Well done on the 24-hour stream. And you girls, obviously, you girls did an immense shift, by the way, collectively. I was having to deal with Ellie trying to explain to me at 4 a.m. that Erling Haaland is not very good technically, which was absolute great fun whilst my head
I was
melting.
watching him yesterday as well, Perchy.
You did. But listen, it's absolutely fine. Listen, I love it. It was a good laugh to stream,
got their
wasn't
own
it?
opinions, isn't it?
Yeah,
It
was a good laugh.
Good banter though. I loved it.
How many hours did you girls do? Because I felt like you were on it for a long time. And so were you, Ellie.
Yeah, I was on it
most of the night.
Yeah, most of the night, and then I came back at like 5 a.m. because my kids decided to wake me up really early that morning. I had 5 hours sleep. I went to bed at midnight, got up at 5, and then I jumped on, and then had this argument where we were going round and round in circles for about. It felt like 2 hours, but it weren't. But it just felt like 2 hours. I was just like, "What is this? We're going round in circles." Honestly.
Oh,
so,
brilliant! No, it was brilliant. So yeah, just obviously. Big shout out, obviously, to you guys. You guys were on it. Big up, obviously, Sava. Well done. Raised nearly $3,000.
Yeah,
I mean, I will put the link at the end in the description on this at the end if anyone else wants to go in. Obviously, it's a great cause. Go and watch the 3 videos. Sorry, they're 3 hours. Go and do the 24 hours collectively again. There was some absolute great moments. Alex putting on an Arsenal shirt was one of the funniest things ever for €10.
That was so funny.
And 10 Team Steve getting himself more and more drunk.
Oh, Steve, honestly. God. That man drunk.
That boy, isn't he? When you did the quiz, he was like, boom, boom, boom. You didn't have a chance.
I said to him, I actually spoke to Steve after. He's actually a really lovely bloke, lovely bloke, Steve is. He got absolutely battered, by the way. How did he drink from 8 a.m. to however long he did it? And fair play to him. Watching the Belarusian 3rd division, I was like, what is wrong with you? I mean, come on. But absolutely lovely guy.
I was having great banter with him, Perchy. I was having great banter with him.
He was. He's a really nice bloke. Really nice bloke.
All right, he's decent.
But yeah, no, as I said to everyone, go and check it out. Go check out Urban, help out to the charity. Obviously, with obvious situations going on in the YouTube community, I understand why people are reserved. But use the if that's the thing, use the Just Giving page, because that's what it's there for. You can see how much is raised, where it's going to, and that money goes straight to the charity once it's all sent. And I believe actually with Just Giving, it actually goes sporadically. So in a sense that once any money goes in, it goes straight to the charity. If I'm right, they'll do it.
That's right.
It does it. You don't stop it. So you can keep donating in days to come. That money will just go collectively to the charity, and it doesn't touch anybody else, which is exactly what we want because of obvious situations through scumbags in our fan base. Scumbag, not scumbags, scumbag in our fan base. Sorry. I do not mention his name because I can't stand the bloke. Me is spitting facts. Teddy, Berbatov, Keane, Klinsmann, Everson, Defoe, all left, and we haven't been fighting relegation. No, I agree. I do agree. I don't think but I think at the moment, I think we're at a stage where even these players weren't hitting numbers that Kane hits when everyone else isn't hitting those numbers. That's the sort of difference, if that makes sense. Even with the likes of Berbatov, he had obviously the likes of Keane with him, so there was like 2. And do you know what I mean? The goals were still shared. They were good, they were unbelievable players, by the way.
Did you not see the facts that Savas was spitting against Alex? He was saying Berbatov, apparently we finished 11th when we had Berbatov, and then we finished 8th when he left.
No, exactly. But I think but do you know what it is? And another thing that Savage did mention there, start bigging him up, honestly, his head will be too big to even come onto this stream if we start doing it anymore. But joking, obviously. But the thing what he did, but what we were talking about right very late in the evening, I still remember when we were talking about strikers. There's no good strikers anymore, really. Like, do you know what I mean? It used to have bucket loads of amazing strikers in the sort of early noughties and in the 90s. When you have the likes of Berbatov, Keane, Defoe. Nowadays, there's not many amazing strikers. You've got Kane, Haaland. Do you know what I mean? Benzema, you could argue.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ryan Mason for Celtic. Imagine we did a swap deal. We'd have him back though, because he won a trophy then. He'd have won more trophies than he did as a player at this club.
You know what? That would be so funny.
Depends on what striker we get. No, box office. I think this is a key one. I think the striker has to be much more system based.
If we get Postecoglou, he doesn't work with a director of football.
Yeah. Possibly.
So
but regardless, if we talk about the striker for a second, girls, is that I don't think we're going to we're not going to replace Harry Kane like for like. Of course not. I think we can all collectively understand that we're not going to replace Kane like for like. However, what we might do is go system based. So we go, do you know what? We're going to bring in a striker like, I'm not saying I'm using it as an example, but we use a Firmino. Yeah. I don't think he's not a prolific goal scorer, but what he is he's a massive cog when he was at Liverpool. I know he's leaving now. He was a massive cog in their wheel in the way that he played, and he was the one that dictated it all, and that allowed the likes of Salah and Mane in their pomp to score loads of goals. So I think it depends what route we go down.
Yeah, no, of course.
And also, Pertry, what I'd like to add to that,
if
you've got if you've got goal scorers from all sorts of positions as well, because midfielders, if you get a top scoring midfielder or someone who could at least chip in 15, and you get another one, that's 30 goals. That's replaced Harry Kane's goal. You know? Yeah. So you can do it from other areas of the pitch. It doesn't always necessarily have to be from a main striker, because sometimes main strikers let you down.
I get that. And Jay Ashraf, hi Perch, I cannot get behind Kangaroo Jack. This team concedes far too many goals with his and his tactics are shocking in the Champions League. It should be a director of football picking the manager. I agree to the certain extent of the last part about the director of football picking the manager. However, we're as of recording the 4th of June. We've got 8 weeks until the season starts. Am I right? My math, if my fingers are right, it's about 8 weeks until the season starts. We need to get in a manager and let the manager go, do you know what? I need this, and this. I think we have to be much more realistic next season. This is what I said earlier. If Postecoglou is the manager, you say you cannot get behind it, but who can you get behind at the moment? Because it doesn't matter if it's Postecoglou, Enrique. Heck, if you put Pep Guardiola in tomorrow, hypothetically, obviously he's not, but if Pep Guardiola came in tomorrow, we'll still be conceding goals because he wouldn't have enough time to go and bring in specific players that will improve it. And we've got to be realistic. We're not going to go out there and buy loads of amazing players. So why would an Enrique improve us? Because I hear that's the hit name that's in there. Nagelsmann was my favourite. He was one I wanted because I thought actually he was the right blend of experience and youth that can actually elevate us. But listen, I understand why he wouldn't want to, because there'll be bigger jobs available. What are you girls thinking about this? We can see loads of goals, but I think next season we have to stop thinking about that and think about we need to look further down the road and go, do you know what? Maybe we should think about next season, not the season coming, but the following season, and go, let's see what we can do right now.
I just think there's so much disrespect. Like to use the Kangaroo Jack, I think that's disrespectful because this guy, he's been around, he's won everywhere he's gone. He's a winner. And like the style of football, if people research into him without just jumping the gun and look at how he sets up his teams, how he moves, gets the ball moving, watch one of his training sessions on YouTube, just one. That's all you need. And you'll get a good feel for the man. And the way he is personally as well, the connection he has with the fans and the way he treats his players, you know, he's soon going to win our fans over. I can't guarantee it because it all depends on how he gets us organised as well, because that's going to take a lot of time because he's got to get rid of lots of dead wood, first of all, and then start rebuilding. And he'll identify players. He'll already have them in his head because he thinks forward, this manager. He's not just going to come in and not have a plan. He'll have a plan ready.
No, absolutely. I've started a few things here. His to Buffalo, massive shout out, man. You put in loads of. If Mason believes he's ready, I mean, I think this is one a bit earlier. He should have left already and find a manager job else. I think we touched on that basis. So I think we agree that he needs to. Another one from Hater of the Glazer. Commiserations to you guys yesterday, by the way. Commiserations to you over in the final, but Man City tweet. I mean, Ilkay Gundogan, a man that is leaving on a free transfer, absolutely dominated, by the way. I mean, that just sort of shows the level we are at a football club when they can get rid of a player like Gundogan, by the way. Gundogan can go out on a free, but he was amazing and fun. But do you think there should be a cap on wages to balance the league out? I'm going to say no, because I think at the moment, if that was going to happen, that should have happened over a decade ago, maybe even longer. You can't do it now. We're way past that business. And unfortunately, the business of football now, if you did that in the Premier League, it would basically nullify you from the other leagues because everyone will go, well, we're not going to go there. We can only pay up to that much. Well, I'll go here because they'll pay me that. And it would stop big name players coming to the Premier League. Let's be honest. Let's just use Erling Haaland as an example for this. If Man City were capped to only paying 200 grand a week to Haaland, it meant that Real Madrid could get on the phone and go, we'll pay you 400. And he goes off there. Do you know what I mean? So I like the sentiment, but I don't think it's logical anymore. I think we're way past that business. The business of football has gotten completely that way.
Yeah. The only way that's going to work, Perch, is if everybody comes on board with it.
Of course. It has to happen globally. Of course.
It has to happen globally. So it's a fair playing field.
Yeah. That's the problem, because if you did it just for the league, and it's not the same, but it kind of is the same. And what I'm trying to get at in the point I'm making was, remember when they changed the transfer deadline day to do it on the first day of the season? Do you remember when they tested it for one season, where they closed it on the Friday before the season started? The reason why they reverted back to the final day in September was because all the other leagues stayed open, and they basically clubs then lost players, and then they couldn't replace them. And when they would get it, now meant that players would get massive. They'd get owners would look at it and go, well, he's a £15 million player, but they've offered us 35. We're going to accept it. And then a manager goes, well, I've just lost my best centre midfielder, and I can't replace him. So that it's similar. It's not the same thing, but it's similar. It only works if everyone did it, then it would work. But that's where I see it. Big up also. Big up Neil. Do you trust Levy to make the right decision on Kane? Because keeping him and letting him go on a free is a worse decision for me. Worst is the worst. And I think, Neil, this is the point here. And I think this is my theory. And Mia, I'll let you jump in on this one in a second. Is that for me, the only reason we should be keeping Harry Kane right now is if Harry Kane can elevate us to win a title. I think that is the only realistic reason why we do it. I think we're nowhere near that. So surely taking 100+ mil right now is sensible, no?
Yeah, absolutely. But do you know what the problem is, though? It's subjective, Neil, because some people would say it's the worst decision ever. Other people are like, no, we should keep him. There's plenty of
Yeah.
our fans who say we should keep him for that 1 year and lose money on him. So it's a balancing act of, is he worth keeping for another year? Is that more valuable than to sell him? For me, it's not. Absolutely not. If he doesn't want to stay, I don't want him here. If he doesn't want to sign that contract, I don't want him here. He should leave. No player is bigger than my club, and that is
Agreed.
just the way I see it. And even Harry Kane. Harry Kane's a fantastic player. I've given him plenty of praise, but I'm probably quite cutthroat. So when it comes to it, I'm like, nah, if you don't want to be here, off you go, mate. And I'd rather sell him because I feel like that's a better option than to not, to not get the money.
And absolutely true. And just before I continue, Mr. Box Office has turned up, so we're expecting fire and flames, which is exactly what we love on it. I'm going to give Alex welcome. By the way, welcome. How are you doing, mate? I hope you're having a lovely weekend. I'll leave you this question. Mia's just sort of put her view on it, which I tend to agree with. Do you trust us to make it the right call on Harry Kane? Is keeping Harry Kane or selling Harry Kane the right decision right now? What's your thoughts on it?
Is that a question to me?
Go, mate.
For me, it's going to be the saga of the summer, unfortunately.
The signing of the summer. Yeah. Okay.
No, saga of the summer. And that's an issue for me like 2 years ago. So, and that's why I've got no belief in what's going to happen at this club anymore, to be honest with you. Like I say, I need proof. I need proof of what's going to happen at this club now. I'm not going to change what my stance on it at the moment. I'm fed up of it. I'm fed up of being the way I am at the moment. And I'm fed up of being philosophical about it now. And I'm not going to change until I see a substantial change. And this is going to be maybe into next season. I think it's going to be. I think we're going to have a hard times this season. I've got to be honest. And I feel sorry for. I don't like saying this in front of Ellie. I don't like saying this in front of Ellie because Ellie's someone that I respect so much, and she's done so much work for this club as well. And me and her have conversations as well. Even me as well, the conversations as well. Even though we disagree on certain things, but I'm just not happy. I'm fed up with hearing about other teams. I'm fed up about talking about other teams doing better than us, like the likes of Brighton, the likes of Brentford. It's more Brighton for me that and then Leicester City that hurt me. That hurt me a lot. I know they got relegated, and to be fair to him, even though he's a flip flop, Sean was absolutely spot on what he said because he's the one that said it, and I have to admit it. I have to admit it because he was saying this. He said this 2 years ago to me. It's going to go all crumbling down at Leicester, and he's got the tapes to show it as well. So I've got to admit it. He did say it. He said it himself. He was the only one that said it as well. He was the only one that said it.
Yeah.
Like David Harris said about Dyer, Sanchez, Davis. You know what I mean? Especially Dyer.
I think you touched on something, and I'll ask a question for all three of you. In a hypothetical world, would you swap Leicester's last 10 years for Spurs' last 10 years?
100%.
Hypothetically.
100%.
Yeah, because they won 2 trophies as well. They got 2 trophies over the line.
My point being is would you take getting relegated this season in
100%. You know why? You know why? Sorry to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you, Ellie. Anybody else? The only reason why life's too short. Life's way too short.
Agreed.
Yeah. I'm not going to get into personal stuff because not like yesterday when someone was mentioning about when they met up with me for one time in their lives and thought that makes an absolute season, which is an absolute joke, to be honest with you. Because Ellie can even vouch for me as well. You don't get to know Mr. Box Office or Alex, my other, in one time. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's move on.
We've had great hugs. Well.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't even know what they're chatting about. Anyway, but my point is, just life's too short. You know what I mean? You don't know what's going to happen. And I can't wait. I'm not saying that I'm not going to be able. I know this is going to take a long time. I'm not saying that, but there's only so much time you can just wait and see when it's actually going to happen. Like I said, Harry Kane's been here for how long? How long has he been here?
Decade now. It must be. Just short of a decade, surely.
Yeah.
Maybe 8 or 9.
By the way, I forgot
He's
to
an
say. I
academy
forgot to say. What day is it now? Today is it day 69? Day 69.
Day 69. I thought
Is
it
it
was
day
70
69
or
or day
something.
70? Day 70 of the worst kept secret in football. Tottenham Hotspur still not got a manager.
I thought you were going to do it every day, by the way, Alex. I
Oh no, I
watched
got
every
tired
single
of it,
one of yours, and then you
Kirchy. I've got
stopped.
better
I was
things
like,
to do in my
I was
time.
hoping,
This
I was
mind
hoping
is
for like, I was hoping for
Oh,
like,
I've
I was
got
hoping for
tired of
like
it.
day 77, where it was like day 77, we've got no manager, we're having an absolute meltdown. Like, honestly,
What, like a bit like the Big Brother house, like they go into the
Yeah.
onto a chair and have like a meltdown.
Yeah.
77 on the worst kept secret in
But you know it's going to go over 50 days for sure. Nearly
past
50,
50
then
days.
to 70.
But
Oh yeah,
yeah,
no, I think it will.
how many
but-
years has he been waiting for though? 11 years or something like that. Kane to be winning a trophy, and like I said, there's only so many times you can just wait and wait and wait and wait and wait.
Mm.
The only decision he's got to make is he going to go abroad? But I just don't see him going abroad because he's got his family. Unfortunately,
Alex, you're brilliant at this. You've done it twice, and you've been on about 5 minutes. You've just sidetracked me into my next question. I love that. Is Harry Kane? We can question Harry Kane's ambition. Hear me out, and you made a great point about him leaving abroad. If Real Madrid are the only team to table an offer in the summer, if there could be more, if Real Madrid and they were the only team, are you telling me Harry Kane rejects Real Madrid this summer?
Who's that to?
Anyone, by the way.
Ladies, you go
I'll
first.
just pass on to Alex, but anyone can answer it. Yeah.
It all depends what's going through his head as well. You know, whether he wants to still remain loyal to Spurs, because he's been a loyal servant of ours for those 11 years. All right. And everybody's lacking. Every season, people say he lacks ambition, but he stayed. So it all depends what's going through his head and what we offer him as well. Because players are swayed by money. So if we offer him more money than Real Madrid do, he might think, right, I'll stay in.
We're not good. You think, Ellie, you think we can offer more than Real Madrid right now?
You don't know what Levy's said. He doesn't want to
we
send
can't.
Man United already. You don't know.
Okay, Ellie, great point here. So this is what I'm saying. So does that then show Kane's lack of ambition? Does that show Kane's lack of ambition if there's two tables on the offer, two contracts, Real Madrid and Tottenham, and he signs to stay with Tottenham? Does that show lack of ambition?
Yeah, it does. But I also shows it. It shows loyalty. And you know what? Loyalty goes a long way.
Of course it does. Listen, as a Spurs fan, I want to be biased and say, yeah, I'd love him to stay at Tottenham till his end of his career. But I look at it, I'm taking my Spurs hats off and go, as a player right now, he's got all the cards are in his hands. The cards are in his hands. I think he needs to look, he does. I don't want him as a player in 10 years' time. He looks back and goes, I should have gone to Real Madrid at 29 or we'll be 30 in the summer. I should have gone at 30 for 3 years, and I could have gone and won the Champions League, the league with them, and all that lot. Instead, I stayed at Tottenham and listen, and I didn't win anything, but I went and broke Shearer's record. Because this is the point I sit back and I go, when everyone goes, he wants to break Shearer's record, I think he does, but let's be honest, I think he would rather win the Champions League than Shearer's record. I think he'd rather win a league title than Shearer's record, because obviously Pat Moore, big mate of mine, back home and stuff.
Also,
he's saying that go Ellie.
I was going to say, Percy, I don't think anybody in the whole history of football has ever turned down Real Madrid.
I know.
So I can't see that happening anyway.
That's what I don't think. I think he has to. I think he has to. And I hate saying it, by the way.
Well.
No, you're right. And I hate saying it because I'm a Tottenham fan. I massively hate saying it.
Yeah.
How can he sit back and go, "No, I don't want to go to Real Madrid"? Why?
See, if it was for me, I'm obviously all about loyalty, man. Loyalty is massive for me, as a person in general. However, Joe, I would think if I saw Harry Kane got a knock on that door, that special knock by Real Madrid, and he turned it down, I'd think, what an absolute bell-end loser. Because why would you turn
100%.
down? Why would you turn down Real Madrid? You absolute lunatic! Like, why would you?
I think.
But everybody goes on about everyone thinks that the breaking shoes record is more important. What more important than trophies?
I think winning.
I don't get it.
Imagine he goes to Real Madrid and he wins La Liga and the Champions League back to back. Because the thing is when people talk about Real Madrid, that's what they do, by the way. They do things very quickly. Yes, Barcelona won the league this season.
Yeah.
But Real Madrid is Real Madrid.
They'll be back next year, especially if they get Kane over the line.
If they sign Kane, I think Benzema's been brilliant for them. But Kane would be incredible in that side.
Yeah.
Just thinking it, like you think about it, like, because obviously Benzema was on his way out. I mean, that was a big shock in it as well. But I think that just opens it up to say, surely Kane to Madrid is an absolute no-brainer. He's a player with 1 year left on his contract. He's got enough time to play. He's going to be 30, but he's still got enough time to play at least maybe 3, maybe up to 5 more years. Easy. And I think when we talk, and Mia, you hit a great point about loyalty. I don't think it's fair to not what you're saying, but when people say, "Oh, if Kane leave," I think Kane's shown enough loyalty at Tottenham to deserve a move now. Even if, and I wouldn't even begrudge him now if he goes on strike. I know he tried to do that with the whole Man City thing, and people completely lost their top with him, going, "How can he do this? That's disrespectful." I kind of, in my heart of hearts, I kind of want him to do it. It sounds horrible being a Spurs fan. I kind of want him to go, no, I want to go to Real Madrid because I want to live my dream and go to Real Madrid. Because let's be honest, most football fans, regardless on who you support, Real Madrid come knocking, you're probably going, aren't you? Let's be honest. It would take a brave player to not go there.
Yeah.
But
and also, very importantly, Percy, because he's near to the end of his career as well, so he hasn't got that much time. I reckon Kane's probably got 3-4 years at the very top, because then you start getting slower.
Mm-hmm.
After 33, you do start getting slower, as you can see with Benzema, and he's picked up a lot of injuries, whereas Kane has stayed fit all this season. He hasn't had an injury. He's more or less been ever present, hasn't he?
Yeah, I just want to touch on what Neil said. Is it loyalty when Man City were knocking and he was playing goal with Gary Neville? But you've got to remember, I think people I think what happens with the whole interview with Gary Neville, I think people react to what happened at the time and not with the whole bigger picture. Bear in mind with Harry Kane at the time, several promises that he was given were completely ignored. Do you know what I mean? There was a load of promises that was made by Daniel Levy.
But do we know, is that conjecture or is that actual truth? We don't know they are actual facts, though. Let's not use like conjecture to say that to back up a point, because that's not facts. So I kind of agree.
But it makes sense, though, doesn't it? Let's be honest, it does make sense towards it, is my point.
But if City would have offered the correct amount of money, he might have gone. But they decided
that's different. Of course, that's different.
So the fact is, he did want to go. So I agree slightly about his loyalty, because he did want to leave. Let's be honest, he did. He did.
And do you remember at the time that Pep was caught in our player, and he got in trouble over it as well? So
I mean,
I wouldn't. To be honest with you, for me, I don't think it's really about facts. It's just about the fact is he's loyal. He's shown loyalty already. How many years has he been at Tottenham for regardless?
11 years. 11 years. More
even before that, Man City were linked with him. He had enough years already. A top player doesn't really hang about if they're not doing anything. You know, that's a fact. Regardless. Anyway, so
I was gonna say,
you know,
you carry on, mate. Sorry.
He's they don't hang about anyway. You know, they normally, after a rubbish season or something like that, or a couple of rubbish seasons, they're saying, well, so I need to go. And and then that's when the money's coming in. Look at Rice for West Ham.
Yeah,
at the moment, they're now touting him to go to Arsenal now. It's been like that for the last couple of years now. You know, so top players will always look to go now because they want to achieve more now these days now, don't they? You know, they
Agreed.
want to make the most of their careers now. So you know, I understand where people say about loyalty, but at the same time, it's just I think it's because I've seen so many times Tottenham losing so many top players now these days, and it's getting ridiculous now. But the
Yeah.
thing is, though, if Tottenham Hotspur really want to keep their players happy, they need to achieve. And I heard somebody in the chat saying that I'm waiting. You know, I want things too soon. I'm not wanting things too soon at all. No, I don't. I know it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
No, I'm not expecting a lot from Tottenham in the next couple of seasons. I'm not. But
Agreed.
at the same time, I need proof that they're going to go in the right direction, and I haven't got any proof they're going to do that. You know, and
Yeah. Of course.
the fact that we keep on mentioning his name, Daniel Levy, that's the problem for me. You know, we're
Yeah.
not talking about the actual players or the
Yeah.
manager or the director of football, who for me is the most important thing. I don't really care if Postecoglou hasn't had a director of football. What happens when he leaves? You know, because for me,
Mm.
that process needs to continue because he can start off that process, but like Brighton, how is he going to continue
Agreed.
that process? That's what the worry for me is, because that's exactly what happened with Poch, what happened with Martin Yole, and what happened with Harry Redknapp. We went to different when they left, it just completely flopped after that, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's just
I
me
just,
anyway.
I just wanted to touch this on Neil. Kane hasn't got the personality to fit in at Madrid. The pressure would kill him. What about the pressure at Tottenham trying to be
He
like?
plays for
I
England.
think that is.
Nothing
Neil,
wrong
I
with
love you in the
that.
chat, by the way, because you really help with the chat. But this is the one thing I totally disagree with you. I think Harry Kane. What actually? Do you know what? I don't think the pressure would kill him. I think there won't be as much pressure on him to perform as he would need to at Spurs. I think at Spurs he knows he has to play amazing to win games of football. He wouldn't need to do that at Real Madrid. He'll still be able to score at his level, but they'll be winning games 5-0 here and there, like when they have Benzema. Benzema makes it much easier, but the pressure will be at the latter end of the season when maybe they need him to go and score a winning goal. That's the slight difference.
Yeah.
But Perchy, the pressure can go because look at Hazard, for instance.
Yeah,
Let's be honest
but
here.
Hazard.
He's in a
Yeah, that's
different
the
position
fair
now
point on
as well.
Hazard.
You know what I mean? I'm not doubting his quality, right? But
Yeah.
when you're at Real Madrid and it's happened to Michael Owen, I mean, certain players do fold in that sort of environment. If the ultras are there and they don't like you, they on at you like everything. It happened with Gareth Bale as well. So, I mean, I'm not doubting Kane's ability at all and skill and him as a player, but I think for me, I think he will stay at in the Premier League because I think he's more comfortable. He's got his family as well. His family ain't gonna move to Spain. I'm sorry, they ain't gonna move to Spain. And
Would they not? If he
I
gets
don't-
off, why wouldn't they?
well, I know, but the thing is, though, you've got to think about the children. And
Of
I'm
course,
trying. I'm
but
trying.
of
I didn't
course,
want
I
to
get
mention
that,
them.
and of course, I know he's a very big family man, and I agree. But I think with Kane at the moment, like if the opportunity's there,
Yeah.
I think
It's a difficult one. I
and the
look
thing
at
is-
him.
But Alex, it's
listen.
also. Oh, sorry. Just to sort of interrupt you, I don't mean to, but what I was just going to say is the difference is where moving abroad is very hard for the likes of us normal folk. Trust me, Kane wouldn't even need to do anything. His family will literally have to get onto a first-class flight to Madrid, get chauffeured to a home that is all they've picked out and then they've bought that has been done by the club. All that, I think that part people forget. People, they won't move. Literally, the kids will just literally have to get onto a plane and then they've already all their paperwork's all done. So it may be in the sense of moving when it comes to friends and family, but Real Madrid, like, do you know what I mean? It's Real Madrid, go, mate.
I think for me, it was different with Gareth Bale because I think for me, he was always looked to go abroad anyway.
Yeah.
I think that was the thing for me. I think, but I just look at Harry Kane. He just looks like and I'm not saying he's not going to leave. I'm not saying he because I've been saying he's a loser. So I'll be a hypocrite if I wasn't saying that. But my point is, I just think I look at him, I just sitting there and think, yeah, he definitely does not want to leave England. You can see his. I think it's a difficult one with kids. It's difficult.
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
get
got
that.
kids. I don't really want to go there. I don't want to go there because we should
But
keep it on the football.
I'll
But
keep it on the
Mia might have more.
football. I'll keep it on the football, but saying roughly around kids, I've moved my children far away from where we used to live. They've settled just fine.
Agreed.
They were slightly older as well when we moved. His kids are very young. Young children have got a fantastic ability of settling in. Honestly, you'll be so surprised. My brother's kids were younger when we moved than my children, and they settled in just fine. They made new friends. They settled in at school. I know it's going to be a completely different country, but when I was a kid, I used to be in Cyprus for literally all my summer holidays, my cousins and that, and I settled in just like I would just adjust.
Right.
You do adjust very quick.
Yeah, you're bang on. Kids adjust very quickly, and my point, what I was making was, it's not like they're going to have to be going over there, going, oh, we've got to go quickly, go find a house, we've got to rent quickly. No, they're going to have an absolute mansion already over there that they'll go and buy, that they'll find it. We'll have all the luxuries. It might have all the stuff. These are multimillionaires. And Peter, he has no interest in Madrid. Does that?
Why?
If your statement, if you believe that statement, we have to question the player on ambition. Then, if he's not interested in Madrid, that's got to be questioned as a player. He's not got the ambition to go to the best.
He doesn't back his ability. He doesn't back his. He doesn't back himself.
But you're right, and it might be the sense he is comfortable at Tottenham. And listen, that can be right or wrong. Like, it's good for us. We're Spurs fans. We'd love Harry Kane to stay at Tottenham. But if he's not interested in Real Madrid, I don't get how hardened of a Spurs fan he is and how comfortable he is at Tottenham. How can he turn down Real Madrid?
And also about the pressure part, right? He plays for England. England, right? Their pressure points are so immense from the press, from everybody, all the supporters. Our England supporters are much worse than our Tottenham supporters, right? Because at Spurs, we haven't really seen much success since Poch left. And that wasn't success in terms of winning trophies. It was success in reaching finals. So he knows how to handle the pressure. I don't think that's the main thing here. It's his ambition. It's his ambition.
I will actually question you on that, Ellie, because I don't think the pressure is nearly as much. The ultras in Madrid they're just ridiculous, man. It isn't the same. It isn't.
Yep.
It isn't the same, man. It's not the same as England fans, because I get it. Because
some of the fans, though, what I was talking about is the media.
But the media as well.
The media worse.
The media were horrible to Bale. They were horrible to Bale as well, man. It weren't just the fans.
The media in Spain is chaos, trust me.
Yeah, it's not.
I live out there.
Yeah, you live there, you know more. But I don't know, because Spurs fans are very fickle as well. Maybe not as ultra as the Real Madrid, but I hear them at the Spurs stadium. You know, when he had that 2 or 3 months where he was thinking of going to Man City, he was being called all sorts of obscenities, Harry Kane. And that's a player they're supposed to love.
Ellie, it's Mia's spot on though. Mia's spot on, because look at the stuff.
I know she's spot on,
look at the stuff that was going on with Bell. Look at the stuff that was going on with Bell. Look at the stuff. Look at the stuff that went on with Bell. You know what I mean? Look at that. Look at that. You know, and they were not holding back whatsoever.
I'm humble enough to hold my hands up and say I agree.
Yeah. No, I'm not having a go. But Mia's spot on. Absolutely spot on. I think that's why I think you have to consider it, because, like I said, look at Hazard. Hazard absolutely ripped it up in the Premier League. He's gone to Real Madrid. Don't hear about him anymore, don't you?
I know.
Nope.
He's leaving as well, isn't he?
You don't hear about him at all. It happens to the best of them.
The
I think even Beckham got it. Beckham got it. Woodgate got it. Owen got it. You know what I mean? You know, I think the only one, I think Beckham was relatively successful. Mallam was successful as well. But most of them go over
Johnny
there.
Woodgate had a nightmare on his debut.
He had a nightmare. He absolutely had a nightmare. But so, you know, this
is the thing, though. You're absolutely right. And as Neil just said there, like, you're expected to win the Champions League at Madrid. You're expected. So I do get the argument on it, but I will still stand by it. If Real Madrid come in and he turns Real Madrid down, I think everyone has to question his ambition as a player, because it's Real Madrid. Like, I get it. I get where people come from. He's Spurs. He's all that. Come on. Like, I think right now we're in an absolute shambles.
Can I just say, right, to me, if he doesn't go to Madrid, it is so Spursy. It's Spursy.
He's the definition of
do you know
Spursy.
what?
Agreed.
I tell you what, right? When you look at someone like Bale and Beckham, they put their like balls on the table when they went over to Madrid, knowing that it's a tough place to go. To me, I can't see that Kane has got that personality. I'm not going to lie. I just don't see that in him. I just don't. I don't know why, but I can't see it. I could see it in Bale and I could see it in Beckham, but I just don't see it with Bale. With Harry Kane, sorry, I just don't see it.
Gareth Bale he's quite a demure sort of character.
But he had that belief. But he had that belief in himself, and I don't know if Kane and that slight arrogance, and Beckham had the same slight arrogance, and I just don't think Kane has got that arrogance enough to go over to Madrid and put his balls on the table and say, "Here I am. I've been
I'm the man." I get that.
A big fish in a small pond at the moment. He's going to become a very small fish in a massive pond over in Madrid.
I don't think he'll be a small fish because I think he. I think, but I get you. I do get your point.
A smallish fish.
He won't be the big guy. He won't be the main man.
I've just got to go and answer my husband for a second. Just wait 1 second.
Thanks, Ellie.
Yeah, I totally agree with Mia. Absolutely, totally agree with Mia. Absolutely, because like for me, I think there is a bit of that small fish going into a big pond with Kane going to.
Do you think he'll be considered a small fish going to Real Madrid?
Yeah, I do think so a little bit because I just think he's not. I don't think he has that ego as much as.
No, I don't think he's.
I don't think he's got that. You know, when you saw Gareth Bale, he had a bit of a. Look at me.
A bit of swagger, innit? A bit of swagger.
You know what I mean? David Beckham got a bit of swagger about him.
Yeah.
The defender from Chelsea, the defender from Chelsea that went over to Real Madrid. I forgot his name now. Yeah.
Went from where?
Chelsea to Real Madrid. He's at Real Madrid right now. I forgot his name now.
Goalkeeper Courtois.
No, not Courtois. Yeah, Courtois, but there's another one as well. Rudiger. Yeah, that's it. Him. He had a bit of a swagger about him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
swagger.
He's a bit of a cocky geezer, isn't he?
Yeah, and I'm not surprised Bellingham's gone over there as well now because he's got that a bit about him as well. You know what I mean? So for me, I just a bit of attitude. I think it sums it all up.
I agree with this. Like Man United and Kane are made for each other, and it will be the combination. But I think I think I agree with everyone. I think everyone here probably agrees. I think if Man United come in, I think he goes there regardless. I think the argument is if that doesn't happen, let's just say Man United go in for someone younger like an Osimhen at Napoli. Let's just say for argument's sake, then where does Kane go? Does he go and become disloyal and stuff and go to Chelsea? I think the argument with the whole Real Madrid one is I do get what everyone is saying, by the way, about the whole small fish. I don't think you'll be a small fish in a big pond. I don't think it will be like that. He won't be considered the talisman though. I think that's the key one. I think Kane will Real Madrid will score goals. I think he'll be very good at Real Madrid. But I do get the sentiment where people are trying to say, "Oh, he's not going to be a big fish anymore." But maybe is that actually not a bad thing? By the way, that's a question asked to anyone. Is that actually a bad thing? Him not being a big fish?
Not really. At the end of the day, if he's scoring and people
is the words of because everyone's saying, "Oh, he doesn't speak Spanish." Trust me,
doesn't matter.
If he's scoring goals, that is all that matters.
The football scoring.
No, it does matter. But it does matter because look how much they harangued Bale for not speaking Spanish, man. They're just so like on people, like they're just on any English player, especially they're on them. And I feel like that would matter because it did matter to Bale and Bale can speak Spanish, but he just chose not to. But he did speak. When he didn't speak Spanish, they were on him about that. Absolutely on his case.
Because this is another part I wanted to sort of jump on with you guys as well. Do you think that Gareth Bale might be in the ear of Harry Kane? Just to sort of carry on your point, Mia, by the way, because these players all talk. Gareth Bale might be in the ear going, "Trust me."
I don't think it. For me, no, I don't think so.
Well, you don't think
for
you don't
me,
think someone like a Bale would go, look, if you go over
no.
there, like, listen, it's amazing, but you
I
make a
think
couple of
Kane's
bad
his own
passes.
man. I think Kane's
Yeah,
his
that's
own
fair.
man in
No,
that
it
sense.
was just hypothetical because
Yeah,
obviously we all know if any of you watch Ben Foster's podcast, if you don't, I urge you to watch it because I think he's got such a great insight when it comes to players and how actual players operate. That's where I got a lot of all this sort of stuff about it. He's so intelligent in the way he talks on his podcast. And he was saying obviously about him when he went to Wrexham and all the sort of moves and stuff. He said no, players will just go. They'll be on the phone to each other. He said when people think players don't talk to each other, everyone behind the scenes all are in WhatsApp groups and all talk to each other. And to get moves and stuff, they'll be on the phone going, "Is it worth it?" Like you had a bit of trouble with like the media, just using Kane and Bale as an example. He said, is it that bad or is it good? So if you're able to do that and stuff. So a lot of these players all will talk to each other. So I'm not saying that would be a reason, but I mean, there could be some technical truth in it. I'm not saying that is factual, by the way, but and I think Man United is the suitable thing, but I think I'm not saying Man United won't go for him, but I think if they get in someone, because they're after that Højlund who plays at, I want to say Atalanta, Danish lad. Not Højbjerg. Don't worry, Ellie. It's not Højbjerg. Don't worry. I haven't
they can have
Højbjerg
as they want.
I haven't slagged him off yet. No, because
I'll be over your house as soon as you say.
You love me, really, Mia.
I was just about to say.
Chat about cooking anyway.
I was just about to say, the players have got a WhatsApp group and they're doing all these WhatsApp groups. I wonder what that WhatsApp group for the Tottenham one was like after we lost 7-1 or whatever, 7-1 against Newcastle. I wonder how that worked out. And
Hugo Lloris has left the group.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hugo Lloris has gone back to Nice.
So it's a good little tangent. We'll move on from Harry Kane. I know we could talk about Harry Kane forever. I mean, if I could.
We could.
But let's move on to Hugo Lloris. The club captain has now come up with some amazing statement, by the way, that basically it's time to go. Has everyone seen all the statement and the comments from Hugo Lloris about that?
Some of it, yeah.
Yeah,
basically saying that like maybe it's the end of the journey, maybe it's time to find a new chapter of his career. I think we all saw that coming. I think we all could, after the Newcastle game when he didn't come back on in the second half, and then the injury came up. I said, give it a week. I actually said, maybe not exactly to these words, but I basically said, watch a statement or some news come out a week after the season that he's going to go. And I said, ironically, and I saw it and I predicted that. I didn't say exactly those words. I said that something will come out, but at the end of the season that he might want to move on. And it literally a week after the season. And he came out basically saying that he wants a new chapter. I think we need to get that done immediately. I think we need to get that done. And then the question would be, who would be our goalkeeper? And I'll let you guys go and wild and who you want to get as your new goalkeeper.
I want David Raya, man. I really like David Raya. I think he's a fantastic goalkeeper. I think he's got all the good attributes that we need. I think he's young enough. I think he's got a lip because he's not really young, so he's got a bit more experience. I just like him. I think his demeanour. I think his positioning is very good. I think he kicks out very well from the back. I think I do really like David Raya.
Does it feel like a new no-brainer as well with David Raya, because Brentford a few days ago have signed a new goalkeeper?
Yep.
Yeah.
So does it feel, and he's got 1 year left on his contract. So does David Raya at the moment feel just like an absolute no-brainer and Spurs will somehow mess it up?
Yeah, we're definitely going to mess it up because someone else is going to come in and want them. Joe, what's going to be worse? He's going to go somewhere to be a number 2 somewhere because we've messed it up and getting him for number 1.
Do you know where I could see him going? I could see Chelsea offloading one of their goalkeepers and him going to Chelsea.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what's going to end up happening, isn't it?
But David Raya for me sounds like it's annoying. It feels like the perfect fit. And Ellie, I'll let you jump in on that as well. And said, but
I
he
totally
feels to
agree
me
with you now because I was watching him at the Brentford game. I do like him as a goalkeeper because his distribution is good. He's a very intelligent goalie. His positioning is fantastic, as you can sort of see when he saved that double whammy by Richarlison. But the only other player that I like as a goalkeeper, I wouldn't mind having Kelleher from Liverpool, because every
Yeah,
time
that's a
he
good
steps
shout.
up for Liverpool, right, and he'll be hungry as well, because he's been Liverpool's number 2 for a long, long time, and he's learned a lot of good habits from Alisson. So he would be a good shout as well. And the one David Harris loves, Basunu and Aldermot. Yeah, I think he'll be.
Bazunu. Yeah,
But
so big up Preston, you put in Bazunu as well. Oh, Ellie. We've lost Ellie. Oh, there
no,
she's
it's
back.
all right. Dermot was just calling me, but I couldn't answer.
Oh, I see.
I'll phone him later.
Yeah. Yeah, so you obviously got Bazunu. There's another one. There's obviously Elon Meslier, who's at Leeds, who's just got relegated. I mean, we'll probably end up getting the report. I think Pickford signed a new contract, so it won't I don't doubt that will happen. But you've got the likes of those two. So you've got Meslier, Bazunu, Raya, Alex. I think we're all but certain that Hugo Lloris is going to leave in this transfer window. Either we tear his contract up or we sell him to whoever. Who do you see as the next goalkeeper? There's a few names I've obviously put out. Let me know if there's any other names that you want to think of.
At the moment, I think I could wish for a goalkeeper, but at the moment, I think it's just going to be Forrester at the moment, because I don't see.
I don't see it happening.
I don't know. It depends on what the. I mean, I don't feel it's right for us to get a goalkeeper in before the manager or the director of football comes in. That's one thing. Regardless whether the goalkeeper is very good or not. So yeah, I think at the moment, as it stands, I think it is Forrester at the moment. I don't want that to be, because I don't think
I don't see.
I don't want. I do not want it to be.
Someone put in a comment a great point, by the way. Let me just dig it and see if I can find it. Where did it go? I've lost it. Oh, where did it go? Oh, yeah. And could bring Joe Hart back.
Oh
well, I mean that would be an absolute
thumbs down.
That would be an absolute disaster, wouldn't it?
Joey Hart, bring Joey Hart back, because we'll have about a combined age of about 70 of our goalkeepers.
And also, I think as well, I need to say this as well. I think, why would David Raya want to come to Tottenham anyway?
Well,
you know what I
think. Well,
I mean, hopefully he wants to come to Tottenham, but I just, I need to do more research on him, to be honest with you, because I don't. I think he's
a great goalkeeper. I think we have to. I think we use Raya as a great example, because they've signed a new goalkeeper. By the way, Brentford acting like a proper football club, getting their new goalkeeper in before selling the one. So they've got their goalkeeper in before the transfer window's even done. By the way, the transfer window's not even open. They've got their new goalkeeper. Now they can go. Who wants him? Talks. I read somewhere that it could be anywhere between 20 to 40 million pounds. I don't see him selling a player with 1 year left for 40 million pounds. But
yeah, I think his agent is trying to get them to lower it, because they're thinking that that's too high for him.
Yeah,
I'm sure. That's
I agreed. I think if we got him in for 20, 25 million pounds, but this is exactly where Tottenham need to work properly. As soon as the manager comes in, they go, "Do you like David Raya?" "Yeah, I'd have him in." "Cool, we're going to go and get him straight away." And we should be acting like a proper football club and getting that done. Even when Hugo Lloris is still on the books, by the way, we should be going in. This is going to be our new goalkeeper. Done. End of. If Hugo, either we sell Hugo, we tear his contract up, or we keep him for another year and as a number 2, great. Don't really care. But as a proper football club, we need to be, the first thing for the manager to do is we've got these 3 goalkeepers. Let's just say there's 3 goalkeepers. Let's just say it's Bazunu, Meslier, and Raya. Let's just keep it simple. These are the 3 we think we can get, probably each of them for around about 20 million pounds, give or take. Which one would you have? Which one would benefit your system? This is their skill sets on this, that, and the other. Cool, I want him. Cool, we're going to go and get him straight away. For me, I think that's got to be the first decision that the new manager, if it is Postecoglou, that's got to be the first manager, because we've got to sort that situation out. I don't want us to get to the beginning of August, end of July, and we still haven't signed a goalkeeper.
It does feel very reactive, though. It does feel very reactive, though. I have to be honest. I mean, I understand that. I thought I heard something in the press about us looking for a new goalkeeper. I think in January. I think well, no, I think it was
Yeah.
it was in January. I think I heard, and I think they're looking approaching for the summer. But
Yeah.
I think the situation is that for me, I think it is very reactive. That
Mm-hmm.
the Reese has had to say that he wants to leave. Well, I mean, I heard as well, just to divert from that they were trying to add, give him another contract or something like that
Yeah.
in January as well. So I mean, it does feel a bit of a mess, really, the whole thing. It really does feel a bit of a mess, a little bit of the
Is it
whole
a bit
thing,
of a
really.
mess though with the goalkeeper? Because we knew that he was leave. We presumed he was
Yeah.
going to leave, and we want a new goalkeeper. I don't really see that as a massive mess, if I'm completely honest. There's other things in the club that
Well, I
I'd say
didn't
are a
think
mess.
there
But
was things in the press in January saying that they wanted
do you
to.
believe everything you read in the press, though, Alex? Honestly, you've got to be so careful. We read so
I
much
think you got to take
absolute
everything
nonsense in the
I think you have
press.
I think, yeah, with the press stuff that you see, you've got to take everything with a pinch of salt, because you've got to bear in mind is where those press up. I think Ellie's probably got another phone call. So big up Ellie, by the way. If you come back, you're always welcome on, of course. I think you've got to take the press stuff with a pinch of salt, because you've got to bear in mind is where does that press release come from? So the press release could come from the agent, because a lot of this comes from agents, by the way, trying to sell a player. So when you see, Spurs are linked with this player, yeah, we might be, but it could be because the agent is trying to sell the player. They want to drum up interest for the player.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. But the point I'm making is that it was still out there, wasn't it? And that, I mean, regardless whether I believe it or not, I mean, I would more believe that because of what's happened before. You see what I'm saying? So
listen,
I've got nothing to go on.
I could put something out there that ends up being spread so far and wide. It's not being put as an opinion anymore. It's being put as fact, and that's what happens. So you've got to be so careful with. It's out there.
I don't need to be careful because
it doesn't mean anything. But what I'm saying is, people need to be aware then of what you're reading and the actual sources that they come from originally, because honestly there's so much, I'll give you a really good example. So I know someone, this is facts, right? People say Nuno got sacked because of Ben Davies. Now the fact is that did not happen. I know that for an absolute 100% fact. So people who spread that lie and that misinformation, I don't know where it comes from because I've never seen it printed anywhere, but that lie gets spread and that gets used in parts of arguments. Oh, the power, Ben Davies got Nuno sacked. That's what everybody always brings up, but that is not factually correct. But people use it because it's been spread so wide and far that everybody thinks it's true, and it's not true.
I think you're right.
I don't listen. The whole thing with, I mean, I didn't listen to that anyway because I mean, I know more than.
I was using it as an example, Alex.
Yeah, no, I know you were, but the point I made, I wasn't even listening to that sort of statement anyway regarding Davis. I mean, honestly, anyway, but that was a mess anyway in itself. That one, Nuno, anyway. But for me, I'm the only reason why I say it is because I've got nothing to go on. You know what I mean? As I said before, I can believe whatever's going on at this club, because at the end of the day, it has not shown itself good worth for a long time now. You know, and for me, it is an absolute mess still. You know, and I don't listen. You know, we can go on how much we want, but until Tottenham Hotspur prove us wrong and show us a little bit better organisation that they are doing, we can start believing something at the moment. At the end of the day, at the moment, I this, like I said, it's not my first rodeo with this Tottenham team. I'm sorry, I can't lie anymore. It's not my first rodeo with them. Yeah, so
I agree, Alex. That's what I said. That's what I said earlier on in the show, just before you came on. Actually, was more that we've had our bridges burnt so much at Tottenham that everyone's now scared to step on the next bridge. Kind of, we think that it's just going to burn down immediately.
I do
big
get
up,
that.
Danny.
I
big
get
up,
that.
Danny, mate. If you want to come on, give us, mate. You've got the link, Danny. If you want to come on, give us a shout. If you're going to jump on, more than welcome anytime, mate. But yeah, no. I think we're at the point where we're so scared now to step on the new bridge, whatever it's going to be, because we think it's just going to completely collapse and we're just going to fall apart. And but I think at the moment we have to believe that the next one is going to work, however much we don't, because realistically, where are we going to go? I think we need to take a few steps back, though. I think we have to be much more sensible in what we think and go, do you know what? we're not a big football club. We're not going to get Europe next season. We may get welcome back, Ellie.
Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
I
Anytime.
got through to him and he was out and about, so he couldn't talk to me. Sorry about that.
Just to say that, Perchy, though, yeah, I understand it's going to take a long time. This is the thing. It's not that me. It's not. I'm not enjoying saying. I'm not. Listen. I'm not. I'm. I've taken a lot of flack as well. Not that I care anymore. To be honest with you, I don't care either way. You know what I mean? They can come at me all day long. I ain't getting paid. You know what I mean? But and I ain't gonna get paid for this anyway. So you know what I mean? That's Alex's job with somewhere else. But the point is, it's just like, yeah, I'm not saying that. That's why I'm doing less reactive streams, because to be honest with you, I would like to react to everything on my channel. Yeah, I'd love to do that. Try and make sense of it, like other people have done it. But it's just like I've got to a point now where it is like what Mia says. It is speculative at the end of the day, isn't it? You know what I mean? Yeah. And at the end of the day, what I do want is us stop talking about people like Daniel Levy and Donald Cullen. You know what I mean? And I'm not having to go at them. I'm not having to go at them because of their people, them as people. I just think we need to start focusing on us being a football club, not a political club, because it's getting tiring now. And I'm sorry that needs to change massively, because I shouldn't be going to the stadium. And Ellie can vouch for me right now. Yeah. Why am I going to the stadium and I'm hearing about Donald Cullen? Oh, yeah, Donald Cullen and Daniel Levy. I should be more interested in what the players are doing on the pitch. Yeah. And that's exactly what's happened at Arsenal. Arsenal, you used to hear about their owner lots of the time, the last how many years. You don't hear about them anymore, don't you? Because they've been doing well on the pitch. You don't hear that much about Brighton's owners that much, don't you? Because they're doing better on the pitch. Yeah. It's simple. No,
exactly.
Yeah, but the problem we've got, Alex, is that every little thing always gets driven back to the whole, even things that might not necessarily be something that's down to Levy. People always want to bash him over the head with every tiny little thing possible. So then what they do, they always draw it back to that. And I understand that a big part of it is Levy, and I do get that. But the fact is that sometimes it ain't, and sometimes we do have to focus on what's the football. And if they give us that football to watch and people are happy, then maybe they won't talk about it so much. That's why we're hoping that a new manager comes in and changes that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think you're right in that.
Yeah, because a lot of it is
Danny has also just been chat. We spoke about Benzema leaving and potentially Kane maybe his replacement a little bit earlier. So
Danny Kiriakou.
The most beautiful hair bun you'll ever see.
I know.
Cool. The man.
I just think for me.
You haven't seen my one yet, though, Percy.
I haven't seen your one yet. No.
I just think for me, I understand where you're coming from. And to be honest with you, I have said this before. Yeah, I've said it so many times. This is where Sava. I give it to Sava. Yeah, and I think Perchy as well. Like when there was so much talk about Daniel Levy, I said, I've had enough of this. And we were trying to divert it away from it. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're trying to divert it away from it.
There's so much you can take, isn't it?
There's only so much you can take of it. And I was just getting sick of it, to be honest with you.
Like when we're at the protest, right? It's protest to get change for Spurs. We want it to improve on the pitch, but you can't pin everything, like Mia said, on Daniel Levy. You just can't. And a lot of it is conjecture. The things that you can pin on him, yeah, go with that. But the other stuff, just leave it by the wayside and concentrate on supporting the team as well. Because one thing's for sure, we need supporting on that pitch, because our players need a lot of encouragement for next season. Because it's going to be a hard slog next season.
I think you're right. And I think what we, as I said, and this is where I always will say about this, about the whole standards and stuff. And when people go, "Oh, you're lowering the standard," I'm not. I'm just being realistic. I think, do you know what? Sometimes you need to go back a few steps to make a progressive move forward. I think a few of you guys will probably understand what I'm trying to get at. I even said, do you know what? I even said on Sava's stream, and it was a big shout out to Sava, and obviously everyone that jumped in did that earlier as well. So if you haven't go and donate to the 24-hour stream. It was great. We had some great fun, didn't we, Alex? You were in an Arsenal shirt.
Yeah,
it was a bit of a great laugh.
I couldn't believe that you did that, Alex.
And for €10, it was incredible. But No, mate, big up to you. Well played. But my point, what I was saying is I even said on when we were on there saying I would happily not take many signings this summer, even if we have to take a few loan deals that are a bit average, a bit poor play. Not when I say poor players, like players of their ilk. If we have to go and get in a Connor Cody on loan or in a £4 million buy or a Tarkowski or something like that, players that are not fashionably great. But what we're doing is the plan is for the next 12 months. We are going to actively go out there and scout players left, right, and centre. And for me, that's what we need to do. We need to scout properly. We've got such a short amount of time for the new manager to come in and go, I want him, him, and him. And I don't want him, 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 and him. We need to think about long term. And I think, would you guys openly happy to have when I say an average season, an okay season, mid-table, but we're looking long term, maybe going for a cup run. We go, do you know what? We're just going to go and give it a go in the cup run and one game, good opportunity.
Yeah, I think so. And I think if we do get Postecoglou, that's what he did for Celtic, didn't he? I think he went on the first season. I think he went on like a cup run with them. I think, why not? I think that's a good opportunity to get the players to be focused on something as well, because that gives them focus too, to say, we let's focus on these cups. We can go as far as we can in these cups. And also to address the chat, none of us were going to blame fans. None of us are going to blame fans. I don't do that kind of thing. I don't agree with it. So anyone saying that we wouldn't do that. And also someone in the chat said, it all comes down to Levy. But what I would say is that when we lost on penalties, I always say this one, I always bring it up and I feel like I'm repeating myself. But when we played Man United, all but for a kick of the ball against Man U, a penalty, we would have won. Is that Levy's fault? Or is it just the luck, sometimes the fine margin? So I think that we've got to be reasonable in our assessment of the club. And that's what I always try and be, is reasonable.
And I know you're right, Miriam, what you say here. And obviously, if you haven't, by the way, go and sub to Mia. Amazing channel. Go do it. Great mornings, lovely mornings. I get to listen to Mia whilst I work and just hear it whilst I work during the week. But you're right. Like you can't blame Daniel Levy the reason why we got knocked out to Sheffield United. You can't blame Daniel Levy for subbing off, for Romero clattering and then Conte subbing on Sanchez when we need a goal. You can't blame the manager for those, but the owner, for that. You can't go and blame Daniel Levy for that and the chairman and all that. But we can blame him for the whole systematic demise of the football club.
Of course,
absolutely. The slow capitulation of what we've become as a football club. Of course we can. And I get it. You can't blame the fact that we've and I put the thing in there said about the whole. We're more worried about the whole Beyonce thing and stuff like that. We need all that stuff, but we also need us as a football club to be at a better place. So all things come in conjecture, and in some sort of level of balance. Daniel Levy isn't the reason we lost to Sheffield United. The reason we lost to Sheffield United is because we got it wrong on the day. We weren't good enough on the day. The reason we lost 6-1 to Newcastle wasn't because of Daniel Levy. It's because we can't defend. However, the big switch is we can blame Daniel Levy, though, for the appointments. I think our managerial appointments haven't been great. We can blame Daniel Levy for not, in air quotes, and I hate the word, but I will use it for some, backing managers, because I don't really know what that actually means. What we need to be doing is we need to be building a football ethos and going, this is how we operate and this is how we're going to operate, and we're going to do that for the next 10 years. We don't do that. We bring in different managers for different styles and then go, we've got to go and buy no massive squad of players again because these players aren't going to play in this system because they play in that system. So it's all relevant. Daniel Levy is the big problem at the football club, and we all know that.
Of course.
But it's working the long-term strategy, of course, guys.
Yeah, no, of course. I would never say we can't blame him for anything. I just feel like that everybody gets really obsessed with little micro parts of things that aren't necessarily his fault, and actually speak about the things that are his fault, but don't use the other things that's conjecture a lot of the time to blame him, because then they're just nonsensical arguments, in my opinion. And I'm not saying I'm not saying sympathy for Levy, but I'm just suggesting that I look at things a different way, maybe as a whole. Exactly. And that's what my opinion is. And I respect people's opinions, but I don't respect people who get personal about Levy or because that's when I do have a bit of sympathy for him.
No,
because I think he's a person, and I think we should all stick to the football inside when we criticise him, because otherwise it just takes away from the actual point. If you're going to speak about him in a derogative way, it just takes away from the point completely. Stick to the footballing reasons why you dislike him. That's how I see it.
It's like
sorry, can I just
go on.
So just one second, I just want to address this. So Neil, this is what I'm trying to say. We can blame Daniel Levy. This is exactly the point. We can blame Daniel Levy for not investing into Pochettino all those years ago, and exactly that's the problem. We should have invested under Pochettino. We should have invested under and thought about it. But the difference is we can't blame Daniel Levy for losing to Sheffield United. The blame has to be correct. Daniel Levy is the biggest problem at the football club. I think most people will agree to that. I think we all want to believe that a new chairman that has a vision for this football club to do well, because I genuinely think this football club can be one of the best in the league. People will call me delusional, but I said we've got the infrastructure around us to, if we did it right, we could easily be one of the best teams in the league. We could be in that conversation where Arsenal were. We're competing with Man City if we do it right. But what we have to be is sensible in our blaming. We can't, when we go and win a game of football. This is the part as a fan base what we have to stop doing, and we do it a lot. When we win a game of football, it's oh my god, we're amazing. The eccentricity of it always happens. We're amazing. We won a game of football. We beat Man City. Man City was the great example. We beat Man City. We're amazing. But then when we lose to Newcastle, Daniel Levy's the problem. What we need to do is not do that. Is actually go and move a bit more in the middle and go, do you know what? Amazing result. But Daniel Levy, long-term projects, needs to sort it out at the football club, because I think he's the biggest problem.
That's why I always say I've got the same energy. That's why I've always
same energy has to go both ways.
Yes,
because I will always have the same energy, but I'll do other things on my channel to show you that I've got a different side to me with fresh reset, restart. You know what I mean?
And Joe, what I would like to know, out of how many people truly, if we would have won on penalties against Man U, how many people would have given the actual respect to and say, oh, okay, Levy helped us win that trophy? How many people would have actually genuinely would have done
absolutely
that?
spot on.
That's the issue, isn't it?
That's exactly what I said. Exactly, you're saying exactly what I'm saying. It's like I've said. You said, it's like you can't always blame Daniel Levy for everything. No, you can't.
Yeah, of course.
The players are the ones on the pitch. It's like, well, who put them out there on the pitch? It's like, well, okay, but still, you had Harry Kane, who was supposedly the best striker in the Premier League. You know what I mean?
This is my theory here, and this is where I try to be as balanced as I can because otherwise, I don't want to look silly in what I say. If we go back 4 years, time warp all the way back. Imagine the Champions League final was the other way around and we won it. Are we as a fan base going to go, oh my God, Daniel Levy, well done, you won us the Champions League? Of course we're not. We're going to go, Pochettino, you're amazing. You've won us the best trophy you can get us.
Yeah.
But when we look, I'm trying to be sensationalist for a reason, just to sort of hammer the point across, because I will blame Daniel Levy for a lot of things, but I won't blame him for losing individual games of football. We had a better team than the teams that we lose against. And again, I wouldn't have done that again. I use the Champions League final as an example because we've only won one trophy under his tenure, because I think that's the one that gets used and understandably gets used, by the way. Of course it will get used. I just think right now as a fan base, we have to be much more sensible in what we talk about. But listen, It's a really good chat, by the way, because it's really sensible in a sense. And I understand why. And listen, that's why a big shout out to my mate, Brian. Fair play to him. He does it how it is. He says it his way. He says, listen, I want to protest. And he gets out there and protests against what he believes in. And I respect that. That's the right way to do it.
He's always been the same. And I always
respect, of course he has. But,
you know what I mean?
And
I
shy away from his opinion.
He never shy away. I mean, I still stick by what I say, even though for me, he did make a lot of mistakes. I think it was the biggest mistake sacking Pochettino. Because he never got it right since we've never got it right since he left it. It's not that, and the thing is though, the thing that proved to me that we made the bad mistake, we weren't ready for when he left left as well, unfortunately, because I think we never had a plan to carry it on, because he was telling us what was going on, regardless whether he made mistakes. And for me, I stick by what I say is what I've changed my opinion on Pochettino. He's a better coach than a manager. He ain't a good manager.
Yeah,
he
that's
ain't a
fair.
good
I'll give you that
manager.
one.
I think that's what he will prove it at Chelsea. This is why I argued with Sean when I went on Savage Channel yesterday, when he was talking about Chelsea. Oh, they're not doing well financially and blah 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 blah. I said, yeah, great, yeah, cool, but look at the previous years that they've had, though, bro.
They'll get it right.
And look
Chelsea
at
will get it right.
and look what they could do next season. You know what I mean? You know, they might have not had they might be looking bad financially, but the fact is, when you look at the football, look at the players that they got going forward and what they've had before in terms of winning trophies, you would have that all day, every single day, if that was at
100%.
Tottenham's door all day, every single
But you
day.
know, the thing is, wasn't that one of your cameo appearances that you said that? You said it really and then you just went off. And I think, now you're articulating the point. You're articulating it so well, Alex. And I feel like that sometimes if you was calm and said it in a calm way like that, I think people would understand and say, okay, actually, he's got a really good point. But I think because you do it in such a dramatic way that you did
I don't want it. I need it.
Oh, no, okay.
The drama is the best part here. The drama is the best bit.
Sean knows exactly how it goes, though. Mia, he can take it. He can take it. He loves it. He absolutely loves it. He pretends he doesn't, but he does. He does.
Sean's amazing. I love Sean, by the way. He's honestly, he's very, very intelligent.
He's a very intelligent guy, isn't he?
He is. He knows his. He definitely knows his stuff. And I just want to say, guys, if we go for another 10 more minutes and stuff, it's been brilliant. Actually, I had a really good chat. It was so impromptu. I kind of went, do you know what? Let's just do a stream. Why not? And I've had 3 lovely guests on my channel. It's been absolutely lovely. So I just wanted to say, guys, also, whilst I'm here, smash likes and subscribe if you haven't. Please go and do so. I also want to go and subscribe to Mia. Wait, if I can get my hand movement right up there in the corner. Go and subscribe to Mr. Box Office, because if you don't know, get to know over there. Great. And I had yours somewhere, Ellie, and I did put it in the chat, but I've lost it somehow.
There you are. Come on.
Well, of course.
Yes.
But yeah, guys, make sure you go and share the love. Listen, that's the best part about this. We just share the love. Let's just get everyone get to where their goals are. The road to 1K is happening. And massive shout out, by the way, my video for about Postecoglou has blown up, by the way, and it's gone crazy. I hope you didn't get any subs from the 24-hour stream that you was not supposed to have. I got 2, to be fair, me. So I threw in €20. I threw in €20 because of my shameless plugging.
Yeah, he's got the shame of the shame bell taken from his neck.
I threw a lot of money into that charity. It was a good lot. I had a really good time into the charity. It was a great cause.
It was brilliant, wasn't it?
It was good.
I'm done. Sam's not here. It should be back to Perchy. Come on, Bill. Back to Perchy.
That's it. I'm done.
I'm done, mate. Alex, mate, listen, you are a character, mate. There's a reason why my goal is to hunt you down on subscribers. I'm not gonna lie. I'm behind there. Full ball, Perchy. You keep saying Peachy. It's Perchy.
Is he having a laugh?
You did it on other channels. You call me Peachy. It's Perchy. PBR.
We don't want to go on the Peachy bit. That could mean a lot of things.
I get Sam watched me because he calls me Jack, because obviously in the WhatsApp group it's my name, but no one calls me Jack.
Sorry, that was an error there.
I think Alex started it because you just replied to my name on WhatsApp.
Yeah, that was
everyone called
me Jack. I didn't even know your name was Jack until you posted today.
Exactly.
It's funny because someone
just know you as Perchy.
Someone criticised me. Someone criticised me yesterday, saying that, if you call yourself Mr. Bots Office, you got a problem with yourself, or something like that. And I was like, well,
just a name, isn't it?
There's a reason why I call myself Mr. Bots Office for those people. You see what I'm saying? Because I don't need to know me personally. You know what I mean? Because I don't want you to know me personally.
Mate, listen,
you know?
Yes.
People are going to say stuff, mate. Listen, like you keep doing your thing, mate, because your stuff's good. But this is a question. This was obviously aimed at me, but I'll direct it to everyone. I'll put my opinions first. Do you rate Ndombele? No. That's the point one. I mean, that full stop. We move on then. He said he wants to revive his Spurs career. I don't want to see any of these players back. And I'll be honest, I genuinely don't want to see these players back, because I hate the narrative of they need to revive their career. Great. But then, listen, how many times do we have to have these players? And Ndombele specifically, Lo Celso was the other one, and there's a part of a 50-50 with a Lo Celso kind of thing, because but I personally still would be no. But after, when I saw Ndombele, it was, ironically, before I moved to Spain, it was my last ever game at White Hart Lane before I moved. And it was against Morecambe. Had a bit of a leaving party. I was literally flying to Spain the day after, and I got a little bit drunk. It was a little bit. And I was like, oh no, I'll be home early. I'm just going to go to the game and come home. I rocked up about 1 a.m. with a flight, I think, about midday. I was like, oh, this is a bad move. But yeah, when I saw him trudging off the pitch, walking when we're 1-0 down to League Two Morecambe, and yeah, I was like, I don't want to see this player in a Spurs shirt ever again. For me, unacceptable.
Yeah,
it should be a privilege to play for Tottenham. And for me, I don't want to see these players. What about you guys? What are your thoughts on the likes of Ndombele, Lo Celso, Harry Winks?
Same. I think also, I feel like now what we're going to have to do is rate your drunkenness on a Steve scale. Like what time that Steve was in the stream, that's how we should rate how drunk you were. So
I wasn't too bad, to be fair. I was actually okay, because I tried to be sensible. But when I was getting calls from my mum at midnight going, you still haven't packed your bag tomorrow on the suitcase you're taking. But most of all my stuff got shipped out there. So I basically was living off a mattress for about a week, because I had no stuff. I was literally living off nothing, because all my stuff had basically got shipped out to Barcelona. And on my drunk scale, it was a level of about. I was not on Steve's level. I was on probably Steve's level, probably 3 hours in. I mean, he was drinking though, he was like, but I was drinking throughout the day. So for me, I wasn't massively drunk, but it was just I was having a good time. I was merry. I was having a good time.
We can have a nickname for you, 3 Hour Perchy.
Oh, 3 Hour Perchy. As long as it's not 3 Hour Peachy.
But with Ndombele, no, I think I don't want him back. He's got no application. He's got the skill, but no application. Lo Celso, I think he looks like he's got maybe a bit of a bad attitude. Spence, I'm not actually that. I won't be that disgruntled. I think if Spence come back, I think that would probably be one of the ones.
Spence is slightly different. Obviously, Doji's another one. Doji, haven't actually played properly yet.
Winks, I will pay for him to leave. We should do a GoFundMe and get him to leave, so we can pay for him to go.
Is that the next charity stream?
Yeah.
The next charity stream.
Get Winks out, man.
Hashtag Winks out.
So a lot of them don't need to come back, as far as I'm concerned.
Of course. I'll go on, Al.
I was going to say this. I'll make it simple like this. My spine of the team, and it's only 2 players at the moment: Romero and Bissouma. All the rest, you can make a decision on right now. And as I said before, we need to get chemistry back into this team. So we need players that want to be here and also get on with each other as well.
Featuring that team.
Pardon?
Does Porro not even feature in that team?
At the moment, I'm still questioning at the moment everyone, because for me, maybe Porro, but it depends on what we're doing in terms of playing wise. But I think Bissouma's my midfielder, because he's a key midfielder in there as far as I'm concerned. He can do a lot for me, and Romero, if you can get a defender for him. I don't think Conor Cody's that defender, unfortunately. So
no, I know. I mean, when I said Cody, when I mentioned Cody earlier, I was just using that as an example that it's not a glamorous name, but if you get him in short term to just stopgap, because
the problem is with that, Cody Perchy. I'm sorry to interrupt you. It comes down to relationship.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It comes down to relationship. Now, if you're going to have Romero as your defender, you need a leader. That's one stuff. Well, you need somebody like a John Terry, a Rio Ferdinand.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, because at the moment he's got no respect for Dyer. He's got absolutely no respect for Dyer. I don't think Lenne's going to do a job for me. He does a job, but I don't think he's good. I don't think he's good enough long term. So for me, if you can't get a partner for Romero, Connor Cody all day. Connor Cody all day. You know what I mean?
Short term,
and then get somebody else in that works well with him as well. Yeah, because we need partnerships in the team. This is what I'm leading to: partnerships.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you, Alex. Just as sort of on that, hear me out. If we go, do you know what? We haven't identified the right defender to play in a back four that we need, but we're going to bring in the likes of a Connor Cody. He's just the example. It doesn't have to be him, but I'm just using him as an example. We're going to bring him in short term for the season, maybe on loan, or we're going to buy him on a 1 year, get him on a 1 year contract for £4 million, and then maybe have an extension if we want to on him. What if we do that short term wise to go, do you know, but it gives us 12 months to go. We're going to identify a centre back that will be there for our club for the next 5 to 10 years. Would you take that right now?
No, because I don't think it's really worked out with Longley. I don't think it's worked out before.
No, I don't think we should be signing Longley at all.
Yeah, I think it just leads to, and I just think it would just lead to someone like Daniel Levy. I just don't trust the guy. I'm sorry. I don't want to lead it back to Daniel Levy. By the way, I don't want to do it, but unfortunately, I have to on this occasion. So do forgive me for this. Yeah, right. Yep. Yeah, please forgive me for this. But my point is that I just think Levy will look at it and think, that's quite good. Yeah, maybe we should do it because it might worked out this season. You know what I mean? And I've got that horrible feeling. And like I said before, I need a team that actually want to get on with each other, because that team, the team last couple of seasons have not got on with each other. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
And you see the teams that are up there at the moment, they all get on with each other. Yeah, they all are focused on the same thing. You know what? When you look at Manchester City, that's a blueprint for Tottenham Hotspur, by the way. Tiki Millenstein, coming in at that club has completely changed that club completely. Yeah. And this is where I state that the director of football is so important for Tottenham Hotspur at the moment. Okay. And they need to get this absolutely spot on. Yeah. Because this, regardless whether the manager works out or not, he will start off a process, and then that process needs to continue. And that's it, you see? And that's it. And it just needs to continue, and that's it. And that's the most important thing at the moment. I've got doubts that's going to ever happen at Tottenham because I've not seen it. You know, Paul Mitchell's proof of that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to have a go at Steve Hitchen because I don't think he was a problem. I don't think he was a problem at all. And so I think Frank Arneson was a great one as well for me. David Pleat, even though I didn't rate him, I would have him all day, every single day. He's night and day compared to some of the people that we had before. You know, Pratigy included, who was not cooking, by the way, who was right. So respect Mr. Box Office again. If you don't know, get to know. But my point is, you know what I mean? So that's the point, you know. And so, yeah.
I get that. You brought up a great point about the whole Man City thing. And you know what Man City are doing right now, which is brilliant. It's a great thing in the sense. I didn't want it to be about them, but in the sense of, if you look at what they're doing, they're basically following the blueprint of what Barcelona did for donkey's years. Is, you know, when you always hear about players and at Barcelona, they never used to go out on loan. Do you know what Barcelona always did? They sold them. They sold their academy players that didn't break through, but they put a buyback clause in every single sale, and it was always something between double or just around double the price of what they sold them. So if they sold them for 20 million quid, they put a buyback clause of 40 million quid. And they did that consistently. So it meant that if the player came good, Barcelona buy him back. That's exactly what Man City are doing. They had a buyback in Porro. They've got a buyback with that Romero Lavia. So what they'll do is they'll just bring them back. And then they let them go out to these clubs for however long and then go, boom, want you back into the team.
Yeah.
I'm very also, just to add, I am very concerned about Udogie. I'm very concerned about Udogie when he comes here because
really,
regardless whether he's a good player or not, he's coming to a club that is an absolute mess at the moment. And I think, you know, when we brought him in, it was Antonio Conte and Pratigy. Pratigy got him in. Yeah. Now it's completely different now.
But could you argue with the likes of an Udogie? I don't think it's that big of an issue And the reason why I say he's a young lad, and I'm going to just bring Danny in, by the way. Danny's just welcome in, Danny. I know you're in the kitchen, so that's why I pulled you in initially, but you were muted, and I didn't know if you were actually here or not. But
no worries, Bertie.
Big up, mate. Big up.
Big up to you guys.
I'll bring this question to you. We're going to go for another probably about 10 or so minutes. I said that 10 minutes ago, but we're going to do 10 minutes.
I think you said that half hour ago, actually.
I said that quite a while ago. But you know what? It's been quite, when you're just sometimes on the stream and you say, I'm going to go in 10 minutes, but stuff's being talked about, so you can't just stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, Danny, I know you've come on, so I'll let you jump on quickly on this one quickly, mate. I was just saying that I don't think Udogie, because Alex was saying that he feels sorry for the likes of Udogie coming into this mess, but actually, do you know what? I don't think it's that way. He's a young lad that will be happy to come into Tottenham and have a go at Tottenham. And I just genuinely think actually for a player like him, it's actually a good thing that we're in a mess. And it sounds so counterintuitive, and hear me out when I say that, because he could come in and go, do you know what? This is an opportunity for me. I could come in here and hit the ground running. There's no expectation for me.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the likes of Udogie coming back to Tottenham?
Yeah, I think with Udogie, I think you're kind of spot on, really. I don't think it's. I know, obviously, when he signed, he obviously mentioned that a big part of the reason was obviously Antonio Conte, but he's not there anymore. Yeah. But I think because he is a young player, I think you just need to get a manager that's gonna sort of coach him and interact with him well. I think it's like any young player, really. They're just looking for guidance, really. So, and I think you get a manager in who's going to, whoever that is, at least play the right way of football, and I think you'll get him on board. I don't think it'll be a problem. Obviously, time will tell, but it could be after a season he might be like, no, I want to go somewhere else. We don't know. We don't know what he's like. Like, none of us know him as a person or his personality, or kind of see what his ambition is. But it is a big thing to look out for, because obviously the fact that he did say Antonio Conte was a big part of it. But I think when you start playing for Spurs, I think a lot of players do tend to enjoy it, as much as how funny that sounds saying it. Yeah. I think they do, and you can kind of see it. But yeah, I think it's just a manager really who's going to come in and coach them properly, and kind of, unfortunately, it's not nice to say it, but a lot of the players nowadays, they need to be like mollycoddled, right? A lot of players need to be mollycoddled nowadays. They need to they need to be cuddled, and they need to have their arm around the players to tell them that they're good and kind of motivate them. Unfortunately, it's not like it was 10, 15 years ago. Football's changed, the era's changed, generations have changed, kids have changed. So I think a lot of players nowadays do like to have those managers that are caring for them in a father figure type of way. I think players seem to respond better to it. Like, just look at De Zerbi, a prime example of who's doing it in the Premier League right now. Right, look at Pep Guardiola. Right, I know obviously Pep's an anomaly because he's the best manager around in the world right now. But still, if you look at the way he is with players, he's
yeah. Oh,
did we lose him?
I think we've lost him. He dropped his phone in the sink when he's doing his dishes. Well, we'll get Danny back. Yeah, but just to sort of breaking news has obviously been, we were talking about it earlier, Karim Benzema has confirmed he will be leaving Real Madrid this season to go and play in Saudi Arabia. The team looks like it's going to be Al Ittihad. Again, if I butchered it, I apologize. But yeah, it looks like Benzema's going. So obviously Real Madrid will be looking for a striker, and we've got one that doesn't want to be here at the moment that's very, very good. Danny, you back there, mate?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, carry on, mate. Carry on with what you were saying. Sorry, we lost you for a minute.
Oh, I'm not sure what happened there. Basically, I just think I'll shorten the answer. Essentially, I think
you're cutting in and out, mate.
Yeah.
If you get someone like an Anjin, I think he'll probably really enjoy being coached by him. I mean, I'm going based on what the players have said about working with Ange. All the players that I've seen in interviews and documentaries and everyone loves working with him. So I think he'd be a good person to have for him.
Yeah. No, definitely, man. I think you were cutting in and out and just a bit there. So we'll go for a couple of minutes. Just want to say before we do go, if you haven't, smash the likes if you haven't already done so. Please subscribe. We're up to 643 as I chase down Mr. Box Office as is 690. The race is on to overtake Mr. Box Office. And obviously, if you
I want to ask you guys a question. You're talking about Basuma. I was having a conversation with Sava and a few other people yesterday in the space, and I was originally saying that obviously I wouldn't. I'm sorry, not Basuma and Ndombele. I was saying about Ndombele that I think it's bad to have him around because obviously it's not a good look for someone who's maybe not good in training or someone who is a lazy attitude who's getting paid 200 grand a week. It's not a good image for the youngsters or the younger players in the squad. But then I thought about it again, and I'm going to play devil's advocate here, right? Because I look at it like this, right? First of all, Ndombele, his contract is up, I think, in 2 years' time. So we've got 2 more years of Ndombele before we can let him go on a free, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see Spurs releasing him right now unless they can agree a really cut-priced contractual deal with him where they say, like, we'll pay you like a small percentage of what your wages are, and you can go now, you can go to any club. I've just got this feeling that the way Ndombele is, I don't think he's gonna give up his money because his personality seems to be that he doesn't really care about football as much as a lot of other players do. He cares a lot about the money, right? Hence why he doesn't give his all when he plays in matches. Now, I was looking at how Napoli obviously used him this season. Now, pretty much majority of the time, if not all the time, he was used as a substitute, right? Coming on in the last sort of 15, 20 minutes of games. Now, just to throw the thought out for you guys to discuss, do you think someone like, for example, if Ange Postecoglou came in and he really liked Ndombele, do you not think it's worth keeping Ndombele to be that kind of utility player so that we can bring on to change the game or something like that in the last 15, 20 minutes of a game? If you're looking at someone who's playing attacking football the way Ange does.
I'm going to say no massively. I think Alex might just repeat. I'll be honest, I don't want to see him play at Spurs ever again. It sounds harsh, but I don't. As I said,
I want to go back to the whole thing. I want to go back to the whole thing, what I said about chemistry again. Like, you can't have anybody that's not, like I said, there's a reason why some of these
Alex,
top teams.
It was more, sorry to interrupt you, mate. It was more about what if Ange Postecoglou came in, right, in a hypothetical situation and said, I want to keep him because I see something in him, then I can work with him. In that scenario, would you still rather him not be here, or would you rather? Because what if, like, Tottenham won't rip up his contract? No one's going to buy him because his wages are too big. So then, what do we do with him? Do you leave him on the bench, or if the manager says I want him, do you let the manager decide and give him a chance to kind of work with him?
That's up to him, but he lives and dies by that decision then.
I agree.
He lives and dies by that decision then. And he knows if it doesn't work out, well, he made that decision to let him go, because the thing is that top managers know that they've got a shelf life. You know what I mean? If they make decisions, they will live and die by that decision.
Agreed.
And for me,
as I said, you're right. If the manager chooses to keep a hold of him, then that's on the manager. But then that means that all of a sudden, then you can be critical of the manager, because then that he has to live and die on his sword. If it goes wrong, listen, we're just fans. You know, all of us are just fans when we talk about it like this, and we can argue and get all emotional about certain things, which is fine, which is all part of it. But you're right, this is all based off on opinions and stuff. I personally don't. I'm not going to be this sort of bitter person that if he comes on, I'll be angry. No. But I expect now there's no more excuses. There shouldn't be any more excuses anyway. But I get your point. If the manager wants to keep hold of it, the manager wants to.
If Eric Dyer, sorry to interrupt you, Percy, but if we kept Eric Dyer, for instance, Sanchez and all these other players, well, they've already failed us so many times. You know what I mean? It's just gets to a point, like I said. Listen, I've got no There's no issue, but there's only so many times you can watch this so many times. And like I said before, I had to take some humble pie from David Harris, of all people. Yeah, of all people, I had to take some humble pie off him because he's the one that said it. And I'm not gonna. I sit by what I said every single time because I was arguing with him. Ellie knows this as well. Yeah, right. I was arguing with him all day long with about Dyer and all these players. I was defending them. I've stopped doing it now. Yeah,
Well done.
So I can't, they've
You've
done
come
too
over
much.
to the
They will get us. They will get us too close to that relegation zone because they've failed in difficult games before. Yeah, and that's like Everton. Yeah, top teams have got relegated because the mentality is done rubbish, and that's it. And it's so easy to do it as well. That's it because that's the problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not going over the top saying that. It's just, you don't lose against Sheffield United, Middlesbrough, that Conference League team a couple of years ago for no reason. You know what I mean? It's just no reason for it,
Do you know what? And also, I remember all the players, right, when Nodambelli first signed, they were all saying how fantastic he was in training. I remember it. Nodambelli, all the players were saying how fantastic he was in training. But when it came to applying that on the pitch, he never applied himself.
But that's the thing is as a player, technically, he's very good. Technical player, really good player. But do you know what? We don't necessarily need very good technical players at the moment. We need hard workers. And for me, at the moment, Tottenham need hard workers over technical players.
I think, do you know what? I'm going to disagree with you on that, Perchy. I think we need both because if you look at if you've done your research on like if the reason I say that is because if we do get Ange Postecoglou, and obviously it looks like we are going to get him, if we do. If he wants players who are technically gifted as well as people who work hard, right? Because he plays a similar system and tactics to Pep, right? He wants that kind of one-touch football, tiki-taka type of football, right? He's very similar in the way that he utilizes the wingers and he wants to play the ball out wide, right? But the obviously we know that if you know the fullbacks like to drive inside the pitch to make a kind of back four really tight. And then you have one defensive midfielder sitting in front of that line, and then he uses the wing. And sometimes the fullbacks overlap, but he likes to keep the teams out wide, right? So the wingers will be really wide. So if it is Porro and say Son, for example, they'll be very wide, and I think it's a good options to have as them choose the wingers. But in the middle, I'll give you an example. Unfortunately, Ellie, players like Højbjerg will not suit Postecoglou in the way that he wants to play.
The other day, he's too deliberate on the ball. He won't move the ball quick enough for Postecoglou.
That's exactly it. And I think when you got someone like Basuma and when Bentancur comes back, they'll be really perfect for his system. But he will need another player to go. Maybe it could be Sarr. I don't know. Maybe Sarr could be like that because he's got an engine on him, Sarr. So I don't know. You might want to work with Sarr a bit. I'm not sure of Skip as well. I'm not sure about Skip. I don't think he suits him either.
No, of course. No. I think exactly. And no, I think you're absolutely right. Anyone else got any final words? Because I'm going to wrap up shortly in a second. We were going to wrap up about 25 minutes ago, and then the man with the beautiful bun turned up, and we couldn't leave without him.
You basically did what the other day when I came off the stream watching you. I think it was Sava and everyone, and then he was like, "We're going to let go in a minute." I thought, "I'll watch the last bit when I get up," and then 2 hours. He said 2 hours left. I was like, "What the heck happened?" 2 hours
on the Spurs review.
Yeah, I was like, "What the hell happened there?"
Me, Sava, and Phil P. It was. I think it was the three of us, and that was. Honestly, it was one of those streams. I think we said once it goes past the 2 hour mark, it just became chaos. And I was sitting there going, "I've got work in the morning. I'm shattered." So I'll leave you guys with the final part. There's a final message, and then I'll get your thoughts, and then we can go off and have a lovely Sunday afternoon. Are we all thinking now that Postecoglou is going to be done?
I think so.
That'll be next week.
Looks like that way.
I don't want to say that it is because I keep getting my hopes up, and I like him a lot, and I don't want to do it. Like I feel like every time. It
I know
comes
what you
across so
mean.
well, but I'm just
Cursing it.
concerned that we're cursed and we're going to end up with Mason or bloody Brendan Rodgers, because that is just Tottenham in it. So,
Mia,
honest to God, I'm just like,
Do you know?
Brendo,
do you know-
I haven't got this. I haven't got the button Savin has where the Brendan just turns up.
shark
I
face.
might have to do it.
Do you know
hit
what,
Mia.
though? Do you know Brendan Rodgers, right? I was watching the Celtic match yesterday and they mentioned that he'd won the treble as well. And then he came to England. So, you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. I don't want Rodgers, don't get me wrong. But if it isn't Postecoglou, there's not many
I think
out
it's going to
there.
be Big Ange. I think Big
Who
Ange will be
are
our
we going to
manager.
get if we don't get Postecoglou?
I would rather have Betty the
There's
tea
only Potter,
lady.
really, isn't there?
I'd rather have Betty the
I'd
tea lady than Brendan Rodgers.
Bit
I
harsh
swear
on
to
Doris,
you.
isn't
I'd
it?
rather
Bit
have
harsh on
Potter
Doris.
over Brendan Rodgers, though, if I had a choice. But Postecoglou is the one I really want now.
Ashraf wants to keep Enrique.
No.
I think my friend.
No, he's not. He won't work.
He won't suit.
No.
He won't suit
I don't
us,
think
man.
it works. And I think, do you know what? When I was seeing the reports about him waiting for the call from Tottenham, and in my head I was thinking, I feel there's only one reason he's waiting for that. It's a good payday at Tottenham. I don't want a manager coming in for the payday.
I think he's giving our club the wrong number.
No, because the thing is I've made this. Ashraf, just to give you a heads up on that. Asensio is going to PSG. That has been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano today that he's going to PSG. And I got a little Danny, if you saw when in our group chat that Sean got a bit of fun because I laughed when he was linked with Aston Villa, and we kept laughing. Aston Villa is a good thing. But that was a bit of fun with big Sean. We love Sean. I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you guys, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you guys for jumping on there. A bit of a random, sporadic stream, but I was only going to go on for an hour, and it's now been 2 hours, 20 minutes. Which is exactly what happens.
Yeah.
Can I just say one more final thought before we go?
Finish it off.
With Ange Postecoglou, I don't think he will turn it down, purely just for the fact that if you watch the interview after the game, I watched the game. And if you watch the interviews after the game, he's obviously trying to say, look, I want to just enjoy the moment. And then we'll speak when someone kind of drags me to kind of speak about something, basically. I just think that he's 57 years old. He's not going to get a better chance to manage a top 6-7 club in England, right?
He doesn't turn down Tottenham, does he? Let's be honest.
No, I think for his just also Perchy, by the way that I listen to him, and when you listen to what he talks about his ambition and what he wants, right? I just see that Tottenham opportunity is exactly what he's looking for. A club that's in a mess, a club that the fans think that he's a joke for being hired, and he wants to go in there because he believes in his own ability and he can completely turn it around, right? By not having to spend crazy money to do it, and then hopefully get us into a better position. And if he can do it for a club like Tottenham, that's an unbelievable achievement from where he's come from, considering how hard he's worked to get where he has. Now, on the flip side, if he does turn it down, I'm just not even going to bother. I don't even care who's the manager after this.
If he turns it down, you're going to come to Charlton Athletic with me and Sava, because that's what we're supporting.
That's a good idea. When I come back to London, I'll come to Charlton.
If I'm going to pick a team,
I'm already on loan to Espanyol, so it's fine.
Well, the good thing is I've got Ajax over here, so it's not too bad.
You're in Amsterdam now.
Mind you, Feyenoord could give him a run for their money again.
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I've had a really good time. Big up Mia, big up Ellie, big up Box Office, because it's always a pleasure having you on, my friend. Always is. And Danny came on doing his dishes with his beautiful man bun. So we have to love that. So, guys in the chat as well, everyone, thank you so much for jumping on. We might do another one soon. Maybe I've got a bank holiday tomorrow, so I might do another stream tomorrow if anyone's around. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Thank you so much, everyone, coming on.
Thanks, Percy.
Massive shout out to you all. And
big up.
Big up, Big Ange.
Yeah.